camping headquarters. 2176 7th Ave in the Warehouse District.
Nelson Homes is having a summer blowout sale on quick possession homes that you don't want to miss out on. Get free delivery anywhere in Saskatchewan on select in-stock show homes and spec home RTMs. For more information, visit their website, homes.nlc.ca. Or for general information, call 1-800-661-6534. That's the Nelson Homes Summer Blowout Sale. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
The original 620 CKRM Country Cookouts are back for the harvest season. As you and the crew take a break from taking crop off the field, we'll fill you up with a delicious meal from Nikki's Cafe and Catering. We'll also bring you prizes and live entertainment. Keep it on CKRM for the dinner bell cue to call, and you could be one of our lucky 8 Fall Country Cookout winners. 620 CKRM's Country Cookouts. 4 Shorty Generators, Fleming Sales, Municipal Hail Insurance, MyFarmPlan.ca, Original 16, and Nikki's Cafe and Catering. Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's Championship Thursday in the Queen City, and the countdown is on till the WCBL finals start at Curry Field. The Regina Red Sox taking on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And to get you ready for it, this is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. It's Maz in for Barney, and it's Thursday, which means Sharky's in. He's brought to you by Flooring Superstore. Busy show today. Arash Madani coming up just after 4. Glen Suitor will join us after 5. Dave Thomas, the voice of the Riders, is going to be by. We're going to hear from Coach Mace, Nelson the Combo, AJ Lett, and Nick Weeb. But as always, Prairie Land Rentals text line is open. If you've got something to say, you going to the Sox games tonight? You got a bold prediction for us? 306-936-6262. Or you can call us toll free, 1-800-767-0620. Sports Cage is brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Sharky, I'm not going to make you fix any home appliances on the show today or do anything crazy like that, but I put it out there yesterday on the NASCAR report around 4:30.
Yeah,
it may get a little spiritual. Okay. It may get a little biblical. If that's not how you roll these days, I'd say maybe you tune out for a couple of minutes. But for me, when I saw this, what we're going to play, I was excited. And I'm like, I cannot wait till Sharky and I could do this NASCAR report.
I look forward to it. That's a good segue. That's a good lead up. I like it.
I'm not sure if your normal co-host friend would dig as deep for the NASCAR report as this. This may be bigger than Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, and Travis Kelce. I'm going to go out on a limb.
I don't know that we'll see Taylor at NASCAR, but this is big. This is it's a big piece. NASCAR is a pretty cool thing in sports. It's the only one that has a prayer before the event and always a military flyby at every single one.
Yes,
and the anthem.
You cannot if you don't get emotional. If you're watching a NASCAR race, when you see what they do pre-race, you're dead inside. I don't know what you got going on, but if something doesn't, right in the pit of your stomach get you. So I'm excited. That'll happen about an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
When we do the NASCAR report for Croft Electric. How you been? How's your summer? I saw some of the shenanigans last week. You're fixing chainsaws. You're doing stuff. Now, I'm not sure if you were able to track down the trailer with no slide outs. You didn't need anything fancy.
No.
You wanted to put it into a field to go hunting. Now, my question to you is, because I'm trying to picture this. If you put a trailer somewhere in the bush, I'm assuming.
Well, relative.
Okay, are we shooting outside the windows of the trailer like a video game, or are we physically having to walk out of the trailer to go shoot the guns?
Legally, we are physically leaving the trailer to shoot the guns. The trailer is just to stay warm and dry. Yes.
Okay.
Warm and dry.
But legally, allegedly being one thing, but in actuality, can Barney and I come and shoot the guns out the window while we stay warm and dry?
No, we're going to stop that. No, not the two of you and your knowledge of firearms and safety and hunting. No. We might let you sit in the back seat of the truck and watch what takes place.
No.
That's where you're going to be. Yeah.
We weren't a fan of the pheasant pot pie
going.
last fall, and I'm thinking we're going to have to turn down the invitation to this if we can't do it kind of our way, because we're just trying to be practical.
This is later in the season. It's for moose and elk. We've got a specific location, an old farmyard that we can use that has power, so we can plug in the trailer, be nice and warm, and safe place instead of traveling 40, 50 miles every day back and forth for accommodations. So we're excited about it. If we can find one that we can make work, that'd be great.
If we can't out the window, what about sitting on the roof in lawn chairs? Because then I'd feel, because I'm close to warmth and the bathroom.
The bathroom is outdoors
spitballing
as
here.
well. The bathroom's outdoors as well.
Oh.
So that ends it, did it?
Colson?
That stopped the whole thing? Yeah.
Colson, cut this segment for the YouTube for the show later. Just edit this out. Forget this ever happened.
You could sit on top. That would be legal. That would be legal. Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
It's not illegal. Yeah.
All right. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. I think he's a little hardier than I am. Voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. It was a closed practice today as the Riders and Ticats get ready to battle. Is Dave hardier than Barney and I? Would he be able to go hunting with Sharky in the fall for moose? Because I am completely out of this conversation now.
Dave?
I don't know.
No bathroom.
The
No
problem
shooting out
is
the window.
that I'll never forget in school they were talking about this.
Yeah.
And so Dave Thomas sitting at the back of the class, well, I can go because I know what a moose sounds like. I know what the moose call is.
Yeah.
And
Just a big bellow. Yeah.
no, that's not what I did. Back in the class, I go, hey, Rocky. So obviously I'm of zero use to you at all. At all.
You know, you can help drag it out of the bush. That might be your specialty, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That could be your part. Yeah. You're welcome to join
perfect
if you feel a need. Yeah.
The perfect scenario would be Dave, you, me, and Barney go. Sharky would be so frustrated within the first 3 hours, we'd be driving back to the city, and Sharky would probably drive his truck into the ditch and throw all the weapons away and be like, you've wrecked it for me for life. You guys are taking something I enjoy and have killed it completely.
We have ways to deal with the annoying team members on the hunting crew. We've got spots for you. So you'll be nice and safe and sound. You can spend the rest of the day trying to find your way out of the bush. Yeah. We'll leave you there. We'll come and get you later. Yeah.
It's 2025, Sharky. At our house, we don't even kill mosquitoes because it makes the kids upset, according to my wife. So you going hunting? Hey, listen. I'm just telling you how it is with the kids these days. All right. Dave's married. He's got kids.
What's today? What's the date today? 14th?
August 14th.
We're like 17 days till the opening of geese and ducks. Like that's the way my head works this time of year. I got 17 days till I can start shooting geese and ducks.
Where are me
Dave,
and Curtis on this hunting trip?
Oh, you guys don't even know. You don't even get into the parking lot, let alone get into the truck.
No, they're
You're not
the
even
cameramen. They're the
quasi-
cameramen. It's like they're the secret cameramen following along, right? Taking
The
pictures.
ones who end up getting sniffed by the moose and the bear. And we're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean to be here. Sorry.
Hey, Dave,
I don't have to
can
run
we go
faster than the
hunting
bear. I just got to run faster than you. So, yeah.
Nice. We're going hunting Ticats Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. It was day 3 of practice today. And as always, Dave, day 3 is closed. You guys don't get access until after everything is over. What were you able to come up with once the doors broke and the press was let in on all of the secrecy?
Well, obviously what you try to do is decipher who may be in or out or if there's going to be any lineup changes, and I'm happy to report that I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Mike Rose was a bit of a concern as he didn't practice yesterday, but he was back on the field today for sure. Definitely had a sweat worked up as he was leaving the field, so that would indicate to me that he should be good to go. You look at the Riders' injury report, and really no surprises there. Sean Bain Jr. is going to be ruled out again. He's still recovering and rehabbing that knee injury. So that's, I guess, the biggest story of the day is the fact that no news is good news if you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because that continuity in your roster is going to continue.
They're a little beat up at receiver. I would say that position's maybe right, but Sean Bain Jr. can't get in, which is crazy, right? Is that more of a ratio deal than anything else?
I think it's still a rehabbing process deal still. He is still working on the recovery. Like, he's been more aggressive with it, if you know what I mean. Like, you can see his aggression and the way that his intensity is rising in the drills. Like, he's still working with the scout team a little bit, but he hasn't worked with the number ones. But it's a great question when you look at the roster and the ratio right now. Like, what do you do? Because Robustelli has gone off. You've had Dante Myers. You've got Keyshawn Johnson as your 3 American receivers. Then you've got Del Duncan Busby and now Tommy Neal as your 2 Canadians in that 5 receiver set. So it's pretty solid. Yeah, you'd love to have Samuel Emelis. Yeah, you'd love to have Kean Schaefer-Baker back as far as the national spots go. But for now, so far, so good. And Mitch Picton has been taking some rotations in. Deshaun Mims has been getting a little bit more activity. So definitely working on developing the Canadian receiver spot. Nice.
What about running back? Any other changes? With Bertrand Hudon still out? Still going to be missing him?
First time we've seen him this week.
Okay.
As far as since he went on the 6-game injured list back in, week 3 or week 4. And again, he had such a solid start to the season, got tweaked up with what was, I thought, a groin injury at the time, came back, re-aggravated it, and now has gone on the 6th game. But he was doing full sprints on the far sideline away from everyone earlier this week. So I think it's a matter of time before he gets back and gets the ability to practice. Obviously, they're not going to rush him back from an injury like that, but I know they'd sure love to have him. For sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Dave, yesterday after the show, I was chatting with one of my buddies, and after you dropped the stat yesterday that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone deep more than the Hamilton Ticats and Bo Levi Mitchell, he's like, no way, there's not a chance. I'm like, no, Dave's good with his stuff. Like, it was legit, but he couldn't believe either, like I couldn't when you first said that the Riders have gone deep more than this season than Bo Levi, Scott Milanovic, and the Hamilton Ticat offense. To me, and maybe to everybody else, they're scratching their head going, really?
Well, I remember a conversation that we had on this very, very program where it was alluded to the fact that Trevor Harris and the deep ball might be a bit of a concern. Well, I don't think there's much of a concern because that guy is threading the needle and he's doing it at a more proficient pace than anyone ever has done it before in the Canadian Football League. And basically, if he's got the time to make the read, which he seems to get this year, he's going to go ahead and complete that pass.
He's over 70% in every game. Like, that's amazing.
Well, back in the day, you were talking 56, 57, 58% being phenomenal, but 70% is elite, and then to do it over the course of 10 games, that's big.
That's pretty special.
And then in his post-practice scrum the other day, I like what he said. I love Trevor's humility when he's like, listen, nobody at 7-1 is going to make the playoffs. There's still a lot of work to do. There's boxes we've ticked, but there's more that we have to tick. And I think also in that same scrum, he said they want to be the most efficient team in the red zone, which is something that they're getting better at this season. But last year we saw this, how many drives, and then it was Brett Lothar time for a field goal try. This year we seem to be converting, but do you know offhand who's number 1 in the red zone?
The team that we're going to play. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are number 7 in the league in red zone touchdown efficiency at 58%. The Hamilton Tiger Cats get to the red zone, and they are number 1 in the league, converting 75% of the time. So they get to the 20 and in. They're 3 out of 4 times in the end zone.
That's an impressive stat when you think about it. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said the Riders need to be bullies. They got to quit playing nice and run up some scores and knock some people in the mouth, and that's part of it, getting in the red zone and not settling for that field goal.
Were you sitting in the defensive line meetings? Because they have a turn. Hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I'm in there. Yeah, maybe getting the towels.
Well, hey, you do you. But what I'm telling you is the terminology that the defensive line are using now is bully ball. They want to play bully ball. They want to out-physical the group that's in front of them, and they know that they need to do that in order to be successful. And they will tell you to a man that they did not do that in their loss against Calgary this year, and that was the reason why. So bully ball is a thing with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Nice. I like it.
When we chatted with Rick Zamperin yesterday, we were talking about some of the guys and like Revenberg, one of the stars on the O-line for the Ticats. Speaking of bully ball, now there's an offensive lineman that loves to be aggressive and loves to be downfield. I'm not sure that the Riders have played an aggressive offensive line like Hamilton likes to play, and you don't often talk about aggressive offensive lines, but Hamilton has one. And they may come at the Riders. That's what he was thinking.
You know, the one thing that I would submit when it comes to an offensive line is you want them to be aggressive, but you don't want them to cross the line. And I would suggest from the games that we've seen thus far this season against BC, a very, very aggressive line, but they would cross the line. And so that really hurt the team. Whereas the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I agree with what Rick said. And I don't know that. Again, I think that Calgary's also kind of come into this mantra as well as being aggressive and physical and stopping at the right time, right? Not crossing that line where it hurts the team. And that, to me, is what hurt the BC Lions a little bit. But I agree with Rick. That's what Hamilton does. They will play to that whistle, and they're going to be good and aggressive coming right after you.
It makes sense. You know, you think about it, that whole line play, it makes sense to be aggressive. If you don't dominate the other guy physically, you're going to get dominated. And if you're dominated, you're going to lose. So it makes sense that they got to be that. I would suggest that the Riders' offensive line is not that far behind that. I would say that's a very big, strong, physical group that can knock anybody they want on their backside.
I'll throw it out there. Let's face it, the offensive line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is not what anyone had penciled into the start of the year going into training camp. But they are as healthy as they have been in an awful long time. And I would even go back to last year. Yes, they're missing some key bodies, but they're now starting to gel and form. That left side of the offensive line has been in flux quite a bit this season.
It has, yeah.
And again, sometimes to no fault of your own, how often do you lose your starting left guard because he was in a car accident, right? And again, that hearing the details from Zach Fry on that is a scary situation that him and his teammates were involved in. But having said that, the Riders are starting to gel on the offensive line. The right side with Jacob Bramer and Logan Furland, and of course on the other end you got Jamarcus Hardrick is solid, solid as can be. And now that left side I can see starting to gain that continuity and that confidence, right? Because nobody had penciled in Peyton Collins to play it down this year. But the kid came back from a knee injury. You could see how tough he was because they were calling for the cart to take him off, and he waved him away and walked off under his own and said, "No, I'm good." And he's outright won that left tackle job from a couple of other guys, I would submit. So I think the offensive line is as strong as it's ever been this season.
And that kid's a massive human being.
Oh, yeah.
He is huge. Like when you look at him, you go, how am I going to get around this? It's like trying to get around a house.
Yeah.
It is. He's a huge human being.
Well, and he's developed a new nickname now because, of course, he's got the red hair, right?
Yep.
So Big Red was what he was called early on in the season. Now it's gone to Clifford. So I'm like, that's pretty good, guys.
Nice.
Pretty good.
I knew we were in good shape on offense when line play. Take us back to the BC game. Who was it that planted Matthew Betts on that one play? Absolutely pancaked him. Was that a combination of somebody and Ouellette? But I remember the play, I caught the corner of my eye, wasn't paying attention. I'm like, did Matthew Betts just get planted into the turf? Because he got owned on that play.
Darius Washington. It was his first start at left tackle as he had moved into that role. And the first play, they called for him to pull and go around, and Himmel and they laid a lick. It was something to behold of, and he was smiling. You ask him about it, he smiles about it, right? He's like, "Yeah, it was a good start to the game. I'm happy they called that." And I'm like, "Yeah, they called that on day 2, I'm sure." Like, come on.
Yeah, they knew what they wanted out of you, kid, and you brought it to the park. Nice, like that.
And I was hoping that TSN would show that replay a couple of times to be like, hey, because that was impressive. I'm like, wow. Now that is whether if TSN didn't show it, but I'm like, I know when the Riders get back home, when the tape gets cut up in front of the team on the giant screen in that awesome auditorium that they have where they watch film, that thing's going to be shown again and again and again. And that, to me, I'm like, if this is what this year's Rider team is all about, I'm like, all right, that makes it into the Rider top 10 for 2025. Anything else you found out at practice today?
Just to interrupt on that, I'd seen that play 5 different times before we left the stadium, but it was on phone. So
Okay.
yeah. But what we also learned is that tickets are going quick. It sounds like it is going to be a full Mosaic Stadium, which I'm really excited for. This team deserves the support, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun in what we see against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So roster looks like it's set and going to be very similar to what suited up in Montreal. It looks like the team is healthy. And I get the idea that they really have got this chip on their shoulder from the way that they came out from their last bye week when they lost to Calgary, and have full intention of not allowing that to happen again.
I like that. I thought, actually, the way they played Montreal, when you think about it, they scored 2 field goals from outside the 45.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't even let them on their side of they didn't even let them in their yard. They didn't let them in their side of the street. They made them stay where they were. If they do that to Hamilton, and I've marked this game as one of those games that's going to benchmark you as to how you are in the league. If they can do that to Hamilton, it's going to be very impressive.
I know this is a hockey scenario, but do you ever have the time where, okay, if they're going to take a penalty against us, we're going to make them pay?
Yeah.
So very early in that football game, I don't know if you remember or not, in Montreal, but Montreal was penalized a 15-yarder for roughing the passer. Very early, the intent was, we're going to get in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put Trevor Harris down on his backside. And the Riders responded, marched the ball down, scored a touchdown in the opening drive by that penalty, aided by that penalty, at which point, well, we better make sure that we don't do this again because this is going to be in our end zone a lot of times. So to me, that response is what really shows me that this team, in a lot of different ways, is very, very, very good.
I love it. I can't wait for Saturday.
Tomorrow at 4:00, Saskatchewan Roughrider president Craig Reynolds is scheduled to be on the program with us. Dave, do you have any more insight why he's coming on? I have an idea, but do we know why Craig is coming on the show? He's always welcome. He knows that. But tomorrow at 4:00, he's coming on the Sportscage.
Well, he saw that you and Sharky were on today, and so he knew that he had to bring in some follicles with him. So that's what's going on, man.
Oh, so it's a hair day.
It's a hair day
on Friday. Okay, all right, I got it.
Oh, I thought you were saying he knew Sharky and I were on today, so he was trying to avoid that and come in and just be like, well, I guess if it's got to be Maz because Barney's not here. Colson, do you want to put up? This slipped yesterday. It wasn't authorized to go, but Colson, if you're able to, I'm not saying that he's coming in to talk about this genius idea that was brought up months ago, but this may be one of the first of many spitball meetings that we have for something that could become a tradition here.
You got to tell people on the radio what it is. It's the Pilsner Cup that you've invented.
Yes. Okay, so why are we picking Hamilton? Who are we playing the Pilsner Cup against?
No. Well, because the Stampeders came up with the Stampede Bowl, right? Their fake trophy game, like, cliche, like wrestling, it's a gimmick.
Like Winnipeg's
so they did the Stampede Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep. Very gimmicky. I'm like, well, if you're the Riders, and I put this out there last time Craig was on, why don't we have the Pilsner Cup? I mean, it's a natural tie-in. It's happening already to be like, all right, the trophy is a giant Pilsner. Now that's just a mock-up from AI. Thank you, Curtis, and your beautiful skills when it comes to design. But that's version 1 of probably many. We're going to start spitballing ideas. We're probably going to have lunches and dinners. We'll maybe form a committee, but the Pilsner Cup may be taking shape here in Rider Nation.
That's a complete guess on your part, right? Like you're just stringing us along?
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen.
I can confirm, though, that it is going to be taking shape in my patio in about 30 minutes from now, just so you're aware.
Gotta go, man. See ya. I'm with Dave.
Okay. Pictures or it didn't happen. You send it in as we're now. So I think Dave Thomas has volunteered for the planning committee for the Pilsner Cup as far as chief product sampler. As far as it's funny, how many people in this province could also apply for that job as chief product sampler to be on the committee for the Pilsner Cup? To be like, listen, I've drank 10 to 12, 15,000 of these. I think I'm more than qualified to know what the trophy's going to look like.
I'm leaving it there, boys. I'm leaving it there. I know where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
If you need quality control, I'm in. I'm just telling you.
I'm with him. I'm with him. Yeah, I
Nice.
can. That song by Toby Keith, 1,632 beers ago, that's not that many. That's not as many as you think.
So
I
Craig Reynolds
thought
will
you were
join
going to
us
go
tomorrow,
down
4 o'clock at Sportscage.
whiskey for my men and beer for my horses with Toby Keith. I'm happy you stopped there.
If we're gonna do a little throwback Thursday, talk about Toby Keith, all sorts of other stuff. I found something last night that made me smile. We'll play it a little later in the show of a simpler time when there was good guys and there was bad guys and there was things that just made you feel good. All right, thanks, Dave. Your partner in crime, Luke Mullender, will join the show tomorrow. Luke being part of the Rider broadcast team, he'll be on around 3:25 tomorrow afternoon. I got confirmation last night from Luke. He's going to come on, chat it up, get his thoughts, his keys to the game.
You seem concerned that he's not going to show.
No, he'll be live from Pill Country. He'll get an early start on it.
Doing some testing. He's doing some testing.
Well, listen, whatever it takes to bring the content to the fans, right? That's what we're in the
Exactly.
content business. All right, time for break number 1 here on the Sports Cage. It is Thursday, which means Arash, Madani, and Coast to Coast coming up after 4 o'clock. And don't forget, we're playing Pick the Score. You have a chance to tell us who's going to win the Rider game this weekend between the Riders and the Ticats. Text your prediction along with your first and your last name to 306-936-6262. You could win tickets to the Labor Day Classic and a $200 gift card from SaskTel. The Sports Cage continues next on 620 CKRM.
Take this chance to get your $100 ticket, because if your name isn't in the drum, the Volunteers can't pick it. That's right, folks. Quick Tick McDick here reminding you that time and tickets are running out for the 30th annual Foam Lake Combine Lotto at 1-888-453-1998. You do not want to miss your chance to win a choice of $330,000 in combine cash or $250,000 in tax-free do whatever you want with money. With an additional 30 draws of $1,000, you do not want to wait. Ticket deadline is Thursday, August 21st. Call the Foam Lake Combine Lotto at 1-888-453-1998 or visit CombineLotto.com.
Lottery license LR 240161.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Did you know over 1.3 million homeowners call on Reliance for their water heater needs? With over 140,000 five-star online reviews and over 60 years experience, you could say Reliance Heath are water heater experts. Switch to Reliance Heath today. They'll give you $200 plus standard installation is included. For all your hot water needs,
Call on Reliance.
visit waterheaterrentals.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Join in all the fun at the 25th Annual Whitewood Chicka Jazz Rodeo, August 15th and 16th. Don't miss an Indigenous dance troupe, human chuck wagon races, beer gardens, live entertainment featuring Shea Eustache, DJ music by CRT Sound, plus a full canteen. Adults $15, kids 7 to 12 or 8, and 6 and under are free. Weekend passes are just $25. Join the fun at the 25th Annual Whitewood Chicka Jazz Rodeo, August 15th and 16th.
If you've ever had to clean out a grain bin in August, you know that most metal buildings can get scorching hot during the summer. Hi, I'm Terry from Zipperlock Building Company. At Zipperlock, our buildings are white, so they absorb far less heat than your average metal farm building. Avoid working in an oven next summer. Store your grain, fertilizer, and farm equipment in a Zipperlock building instead. Zipperlock Building Company, built in hours to last a lifetime. See us in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515.
Hi, this is Riley McChesney with McDougall Auctioneers, the largest privately owned auction company with the most locations across Canada, specializing in agriculture and heavy equipment. For over 4 decades, we've set the standard in asset auctions, appraisals, and consulting services. Our experience and commitment to innovation and transparency have made us the first choice for customers across the nation. Our expert team of over 90 staff is ready to serve you, and we ensure every auction is a success. McDougall Auctioneers, where every bid counts.
Saskatchewan. It's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Our Sportscage poll question today: who wins the WCBL championship? The Regina Red Sox or the Sylvan Lake Gulls? Game one goes tonight. Curry Field, first pitch at 7:00. You can vote by going to sportscage.com, and when you're there, you can sign up for the Insider newsletter, get all the breaking news from Sportscage, and have a chance to win some great prizes. It's Maz in for Barney today, and it's Thursday, which means Sharky is with us for Flooring Superstore. And Sharky, I'm not sure if you've paid attention to the internet in the past 24 hours, but it's all about Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce. We played the audio yesterday. She blew up their Instagram account. They got 300,000 followers in 48 hours. And so far, in the first 16 hours of their podcast being posted, there is over 10 million views. Taylor Swift moves the needle in sports, whether you like it or not.
Well, she's moved the needle for the day. She's moved the needle for the day. So those 300,000 new followers and the 16 million views they got, they're going to drop substantially over the next 24 to 48 hours when the next show doesn't have Taylor Swift. So unless they're going to bring her on every show, which I can't see them doing, it's a, what do they call that? A heroin spike, right? A heroin marketing piece. You get a real big high, and then it crashes back to earth. So that's what they've done. They've heroin marketed their event.
Every post I saw yesterday, which was like a video short, when she was going through her new album and the tracks, and she was dropping different pieces of knowledge, like everything had 100 to 300,000 likes. And I'm like, they were famous on their own, but the next level that she provides, and I'm sure they didn't beg her to come on. I'm sure she willingly did it. And the one thing I do like about her, she's self-aware. She's annoying for sports fans, but she does have a sense of humor, and she can actually hang with those guys. Like, they're two brothers. First of all, brothers are brothers, and you got brothers that play in the NFL. Probably they're in crude situations a lot of the time.
Very, very accomplished in their business. Yeah, very accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like being in a hockey dressing room. There are some hockey wives that are great and can roll with the punches. And Sharky, there are some hockey wives out there to be like, you married you married you married the wrong guy.
Yeah. He said, what? Why? Why would he do that? Why? Just things you say in there. You just say stuff. It happens. You got to move on. You know what? I give Taylor Swift a lot of credit. She's probably one of the biggest faces, most well-known face on the planet, right? Yet she seems to pull it off wherever she goes, that she looks like she belongs. So, I give her a lot of credit for what she does. She's very unique from a marketing perspective. My staff were listening today at work to the podcast for the first time ever, just because Taylor Swift was on there. So like I said, it's a big spike, but it'll go away because my staff is not going to listen to the next Kelce Brothers podcast. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Speaking of guests that spike the numbers when they come on the show, he is a couple wins away from being a WCBL champion president. Gary Brotzel is with us. Gary, do your Taylor Swift magic. Let's get these Sportscage numbers pumping. Online, social media.
I don't even know who Taylor Swift is. I couldn't name one song.
You and me both, Brotz. You and me both, baby.
Unless she's on the country charts, no idea.
Nice. Gary, it's tunnel vision. We're all about ball these days. So tonight, game one, WCBL championship, Sylvan Lake Gulls.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, last time we had you on, you casually dropped the line, be like, in the middle of July, we lost most of our starting rotation, and we kind of put it back together. And I'm like, how could you be so casual about losing? And look where you've come. How were you guys able to do this? Because you beat a really good Saskatoon Berries team.
Yeah, I was casual at the time, but I was a little nervous, believe me. I mean, we did lose our whole starting rotation, all four, and three of our back-end guys. And 2 outfielders, and our starting catcher. But, Rye's got lots of connections. He was able to replace probably half of those, not everybody, probably half. And, we're running a little lean, 23-man roster, not 32 anymore. But we're finding a way.
Gary, Sharky here. First off, congratulations. What an outstanding season. Great effort by your ball club and great effort by your whole organization. It's been quite a year for you. What do you expect from Sylvan Lake? What do they bring to the table tonight for Game 1?
Yeah, we only played them twice. We beat them, I can't remember the exact score, 8-1, 4-3, with, I'll call it our other team. It was early in the season in June. It was a good game. We played well. We matched up with them. I know they've added a couple more bodies. I'd say the line on Sylvan Lake is they will pitch very, very well tonight. I don't know. I think we match up really good with them offensively. So it's going to come down to who hits the ball.
And who's going to lead you offensively? Who's going to lead you offensively on that group then?
Well, we've got our 2 guys from the Virgin Islands, Zaid Brannigan and Raphael Kenny Jackson. And, of course, Matthew Fox has been great for us all year. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention local product Brady Bye's been just unreal the last month. He's hitting everything. And, we're pretty solid 1 through 9. James Wright all swinging a good bat. So, we're pretty confident in our hitting lineup. It's just we're going to have some pitching.
When it comes to pitching, it's funny. We saw this the other day when the Blue Jays were taking on the Dodgers. They used anybody and everybody. When you're down to basically a 3-game series, you got to win 2. Is everything on the table for Rye and the pitching staff just to get it done however it needs to get done?
Yeah, you nailed it. Tonight, neither one of we're basically down to 2 starting pitchers without giving away our strategy, but you're going to see our number 1 tomorrow and our number 1A on Game 3 if need be. And tonight is going to be very much Blue Jay-like. It's going to be a little bit by committee, and we're going to have to figure it out.
Gary, tickets for tonight. Going online. It said there were none available, but will you turn anybody away that shows up with a $20 bill?
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this.
Maybe. Say maybe.
Yeah. I guess if you show up, we'll shoehorn you in. But we cut it off. It's the last game was not very easy to manage by any means. But if this isn't a statement on why we need a new ballpark, I don't know what is. Just can't handle it. I brought in porta potties, and you couldn't even get in the washrooms. Of course, the concessions are crazy. People were lined up for beer all night. But and this is just 1,700. What if there was 3,000 trying to get in there? Well, you couldn't do it. It's impossible. The facility's just too old to handle that.
Great statement, like you said, on a new stadium. Nice work.
Yeah.
Now, when the schedule came out, Gary, I was like, oh no, they better not be doing a 1-1-1. Thankfully, it's a 1-2. Because how long is the trip from Regina basically to Sylvan Lake? Because there's no quick way to get there. That's a lot of travel in a short amount of time. Yeah,
it's funny because they approached us about doing the 1-2-2 because it's their choice. It's in our constitution. But Saskatoon was willing to do 1-1-1 if they won, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, the travel back and forth 3 times would have been nuts.
Yeah, there's no shortcut to get there. It's just about 10 hours to get to Sylvan Lake.
Yeah, I think it's a good 10. Yeah.
On the bus, it would be for sure. Yeah.
Well, I know we're leaving at 7 tomorrow morning, so not much time to get uniforms cleaned, and we'll be gone.
Well, hopefully you just hit home runs. You don't have to slide.
Yeah.
Oh, Sharky. What is this? Some sort of fantasy Disney movie with a fairy tale ending.
Yeah,
where
it
only
is.
home runs get hit.
Yeah, Red Sox in 2. Yeah,
the wind is blowing out to left field right now.
It'd be perfect. Be perfect.
Yeah.
Then.
You might see one or two.
Love it.
Gary, thanks for doing this. We know that you're busy, and I'm sure you go from president and radio star to logistics manager of all of these people and spaces to put them at the ballpark tonight at Curry Field. We wish you the best of luck.
Great, thanks. Appreciate dropping in, and go Sox, go.
Have a great night.
Yeah, you bet.
I was going to say, I think we can always call them back that if they do come through and win, Barney and Sharky will buy Gary anything and everything on their tabs at the golf course they all belong to for the rest of the season, just as part of civic pride.
Yeah, I'm glad you waited till he hung up. That was nice of you, Maz. Throw that in at the end after he disconnects. Yeah, I'm sure somebody else will remind him. Excellent. That's what my tab needs, is another beating like that. Oh, boy.
It all goes on a tab. No one actually looks at those bills. You've got to spend that money anyways, right?
I covered the minimum a long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, had a big May. Got a good start. Yeah.
There's always that one guy like, oh, yeah, I didn't bring my wallet. Can you just get me this time and I'll get you next time? All right.
Yeah.
And then the next time, oh, geez, I forgot my wallet. Oh, man, hey, just be like, wow, that seems to be a real problem. It's a good thing you don't get pulled over by the cops. You'd be in real trouble.
That's the best part about being at a golf club. There's no exchange of money. It's just a number. You just got to remember. And if you don't remember the number, the staff will dig it out for you. They'll find it for you. Not a problem. They'll get it on your tab. It'll get looked after.
All right. We're going to take another break here on the Sports Cage. I want to ask you about this. Maybe we'll do this when we get back, because we had Destin Forbes on from the Lethbridge Hurricanes the other day. And the slow trickle, what I thought was going to happen of players going to the NCAA is kind of turned into the faucets are on. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot, and it's happening quick, and there's some really good talent, and the league is going to look really different in about 6 weeks' time when they get rolling, especially the Medicine Hat Tigers. And we had an interesting conversation about that. And I know because you're so plugged into the minor hockey community and some of these players that it will affect, I want to get your take on that. We'll do that in a couple of minutes. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Employee pricing is back. Right now, you pay what I pay. You pay what we pay. It's amazing. And guess what? You don't have to do any work.
Right now, you pay what I pay.
They get our discount?
Yeah.
Can you believe it? We got over 100 F-150s. We got over 50 Super Duties. We got Escapes, Bronco Sports, over 300 new vehicles to choose from. We got it all. Don't miss the employee pricing at Capital Ford Lincoln.
SEIU West members are
Medical Equipment Coordinator,
Combined Laboratory and X-Ray Technologist,
Orderly, Biomedical Engineering Technologist,
File Clerk,
MRI Technologist,
Carpenter,
Pharmacy Technician, Cardiology Technologist,
Staff Scheduler,
Information Technology Analyst.
The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seius.ca.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Hey, you down there. Yeah, it's me, the sun. Been up here doing my thing for, 4.6 billion years or so, and you're still paying full price for power? Come on. Get a Keln Solar residential system. Use me to power your AC, your fridge, your whatever that thing is in your garage. Help me help you. What movie's that from? Anyway, when you've got extra power, Sask Power gives you credits. Jerry Maguire, that's what that line's from.
Get a quote at kelnsolar.com.
If you have a garage door that's running a little rough, you should really have Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists, come out and repair it. Or it may need to be replaced altogether. Yeah, just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in the business for many, many years, because they can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Honey, calling Busy Bee.
Good idea. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. For all your hot water needs, call on Reliance Heath today.
WCBL Championship starts tonight. The Regina Red Sox taking on the Sylvan Lake Gulls tonight. First pitch at Curry Field goes at 7 o'clock. We just chatted with Gary Brotzel on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Pretty much a sellout, but if you're showing up, you can't get the tickets online anymore, but if you're trying your luck at the gate, best of luck. Should be a nice night for ball. The Jays beat the Cubs 2-1 this afternoon. Max Scherzer, 7 innings, 3 strikeouts. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had a home run. Tomorrow they start a series with the Texas Rangers. And Week 11 in the CFL kicks off tonight with Ottawa in Winnipeg to take on the Bombers. Hey, the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation is giving you a chance to win a romantic Sparkling Hill Spa getaway. You and Sharky and your spouse can go to Kelowna for 2 nights at the Sparkling Hill Resort and get a couple's massage. Sharky will sit in the corner and make it awkward. You could take $4,500 in cash if that doesn't tickle your fancy.
Take the cash. Take the cash.
Entry deadline is tonight at 5. You can buy your tickets online at riders5050.ca. Oh, so we said earlier in the show that Craig Reynolds is coming on the show tomorrow at 4, but we didn't know why. They had asked, hey, can we come? Yeah, sure. Come on in. I don't think it's Pilsner Shop. No, I just saw this.
He usually doesn't show up for no reason. Yeah.
So I just got this. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will be in Saskatoon tomorrow morning to make an exciting announcement. 10 a.m., Staybridge Suites high above. And I'm like, okay, so there's a big announcement in Saskatoon tomorrow. Craig's coming on here tomorrow at 4. This is probably something big. B-I, capital letter B-I-G.
Okay, so let's put on our thinking caps. Where's your orange cap there, Colson? Get your orange cap on. That's your question cap, not your thinking cap, though. What could it be? What could be the big announcement? There's Colson with his cross-electric thinking hat on. My guess is they're doing something with minor football. There's some sort of, if I had to guess, there's some sort of coordination with minor football throughout the province. That's what I'd guess. And that's true speculation on my part. I got no insight, right? True speculation. Something with minor football. Because they wouldn't need that to announce they're going back for training camp. Right?
No, and it seems early to make the training camp announcement. Like normally they'll do that, and it's a good save it for the off season, kind of get a little pub and PR that way. Yeah, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put some feelers out there. We'll put our spies on it. Put our spies on it.
I'm reaching out.
So back on Monday,
also
Dustin
just wait
Forbes,
24 hours.
Not going to happen. Can't wait
Colson,
24 hours.
That's not this. We're investigative journalists on this show, okay? That's not that. We don't wait around for stories. We break stories. Come on.
We're going to be on top of the pulse.
I will give somebody credit. There's one guy named Barney Shinkrack that said, listen, this Maddox Schultz kid's going to be the next star of junior hockey. Let's get him on the show. We had him before anybody else. And sometimes Barney's ideas aren't always great. This one was. And this leads me to, we were chatting with Dustin Forbes, who's the play-by-play voice of the Lethbridge Hurricanes back on Monday. And because of the NCAA and the NIL money and all of this, the league has really changed. And one of the things that I had asked him is, I can only imagine the numbers being thrown around with the agent or the advisor, I'm not sure what they're called, and Maddox Schultz's parents now at age 14 with these colleges, and this is 4 years away. Sharky.
Well,
could you imagine it could be 3, but if Gavin McKenna is getting $700,000 for his trip to college, and Maddox Schultz is on that same trajectory, could you imagine some of the numbers that are probably being thrown around in some emails and text messages at their house?
Now, there's a catch. There's a catch to this. Gavin McKenna's got a late birth date, which bumps him a year later in the draft. So in other words, Gavin McKenna's finished high school, but still isn't draft eligible because of his late birth date. So if Gavin McKenna had an earlier birth date and got drafted this year, that money wouldn't be available to him. The NHL team would probably be taking him. So it depends. It depends where Maddox Schultz's birthday is going to wash out, whether he's going to be in the draft for as a 17-year-old or whether he's going to have to wait till almost his 18-year-old year.
I think the point I was trying to make with Dustin, if this is because this is year 3 or 4 for football and some other sports. In about 3 or 4 years, the money, NIL money in hockey is going to be that much more advanced and on down the line, and they're going to know some values. And somebody that is going to be generational, like some people would say, I mean, that's a lot to live up to. But by then, because the compensation packages could be bigger and better, or they could look a lot different. I'm just thinking, because it's the infancy for hockey NIL, where football is already ridiculous and down the road, that by time this could be an option down there. Sharky, is the dub going to turn into a glorified AAA league that you play till you're 18, and if you're good, you're gone? I know there will always be players to fill out the rosters, but I'm talking about the top level guys that make the league stars now.
I don't think so. And lots of people have said it. It's going to take 2 or 3 years for this to wash out and figure where everybody gets. And I really think that's the case, because nobody really, all the money that's being thrown around and talked about and the opportunities, different guys are going to develop in different locations. Some of the things that are going to happen is how the NHL responds to this, to those guys at the NCAA level. Like as an example, when you get drafted out of the Western Hockey League at 17, if you haven't signed with that team by 19, you can go back in the draft and get redrafted again.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to the NCAA, the NHL now holds your rights till you're finished that NCAA school time. So Gavin McKenna, if the NHL doesn't think he's ready, can send him back to Penn State, right? They can say, you go back to Penn State and play there and stay there for as long as we want, and we don't have to pay you, and you can keep developing there. So there's going to be some guys it works for really, really well. There's going to be some guys it doesn't work for, and some teams it doesn't work for. Like Roger McQueen, he's going to, I forget where it is now. I'm trying to look it up. No, he's going to Providence. Drafted in the first round by Anaheim. So Providence is making a big commitment to Roger McQueen. Well, what if Anaheim keeps him? What if Anaheim says, no, we want to sign you to a contract. We want you to play your 10 games here. Now Roger McQueen's got to go find a place to play hockey if he doesn't stick with the Ducks, because he can't go back to the NCAA once he plays an exhibition game and signs a contract. You're not eligible to go back. So there's more to this than meets the eye of how this is all going to wash out. Granted, some guys are jumping on the money and they're taking it and running, and, good for them. If somebody's going to write you a check, I always say cash it and figure out the rest later, especially if it's something you're already doing. But it's not a cut and dried scenario where we're seeing them develop at the same pace and getting the same opportunities. It's going to change the opportunity layout. Roger McQueen at 18 is going to play against guys 24 years old at Providence. Like Boston College, Northeastern, they don't go and get the guys that are 18 or 19. They want them when they're done junior at 20. They want them when they're men. So when you go to BC or Northeastern, you're going to be playing a 24-year-old centerman. I don't care how talented you are. He's not going to let you take his lunch. It's that simple. It's not going to happen. And there's nobody in the NCAA that can come back you up if you're getting run over, because they all wear masks and there's no fighting allowed. So it's not like somebody can come up to the 24-year-old and said, I'm going to give you a licking. Yeah, whatever, big deal. Go sit in the corner. I'll run McQueen all night long. right? So it's a it's a very different scenario than everybody thinks it's just going to be magic money, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. This is the other side of the conversation that I know, and I think a lot of other hockey fans don't know. We'll continue this later on in the show. We got to take a break. We're going to news. Coming back after 4 o'clock, Arash Madani will join us. Week 11 in the CFL kicks off tonight. The inconsistent Winnipeg Blue Bombers at home to take on the Ottawa Redblacks. We'll dive into that next. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist.
We'll look back at some of the big shakers and movers of the country music scene. Some cats reinvented themselves, others, they did what works for them the best. We'll feature the top 25 on your Country Music Rewind.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist. Brought to you by Crawford's No Frills. Saturday afternoons at 4 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on Country's Greatest Hits, 620 CKRM.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50/50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
So since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
To get the job done right, you need the right machine for the job. For better hay, the right machine is the 1316S Heston Disc Mower Conditioner by Massey Ferguson. The 1316S Heston is the rugged, high-capacity mower designed for reliable performance, with a 16-foot working width. The 1316S Heston also has the quick change tool, making changing blades easier, getting you back to cutting hay quickly. See the Heston by Massey Ferguson at Nick's Service in Emerald Park, nickservice.com.
This back-to-school season, don't be prehistoric.
Mom, my phone is basically a fossil.
Sweetie, your phone's older than a T-Rex.
Time to evolve at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
They have new phones, back-to-school deals, internet and max TV stream, and no extinct data plans.
In 2025, there's no excuse to roam with a Jurassic phone. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel, echosound.ca.
For an RTM home that doesn't look like an RTM home, check out Olympic RTMs. Built just minutes outside Regina, Olympic RTMs has modern, stylish new homes with clean lines that are ready to move within 6 months. Your new home is waiting for you at olympicrtm.ca.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, the voice of Saskatchewan, a Harvard media station. Streaming everywhere at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. Last week's rainfall across Saskatchewan improved topsoil moisture, but slowed fieldwork and harvest, according to numbers from the weekly provincial crop report. Later crops benefited from the moisture, while early crops may face quality issues. Beatty received 105 millimeters, Calder 103, and Star City 102. Provincial cropland moisture is now 75% adequate, with 11% surplus. Harvest stands at 2% complete, mainly in the southwest. Winter wheat, fall rye, and some pulse crops have been combined. Saskatchewan's specialized municipal policing teams seized 73 firearms, over 14 kilograms of cocaine, and 2.7 kilograms of meth in the first half of 2025. Crime reduction teams and Saskatchewan trafficking response teams in Prince Albert, Regina, and Saskatoon also laid 445 charges against 91 people. Officers opened 62 human trafficking files and conducted 59 interventions. The province says the results show the province's targeted approach to tackling illegal drugs, weapons, and human trafficking is working. The Saskatchewan Environmental Society warns the province could violate federal law if it continues running coal-fired power plants beyond 2030. Federal rules require plants to close or meet strict emission standards by then. Executive Director Peter Preble says Premier Scott Moe has signaled the plants will stay open past 2029. The government is seeking changes to federal rules, arguing the plants provide affordable, reliable power. A legal challenge on the province's coal extension plan was heard in court this week. The union representing Air Canada's flight attendants says it is preparing for the possibility of a government intervention mandating arbitration as bargaining talks continue ahead of a potential work stoppage this weekend. QP National President Mark Hancock says government action would send a bad message to flight attendants.
Unfortunately, Air Canada is counting on the government doing what they've done to railway workers, to postal workers, and to dock workers. And that's to come in and squash the strike before it happens.
The union would not comment specifically on how it would respond to the government mandating flight attendants back to work if QP were to strike. And U.S. President Donald Trump meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow in Alaska. Trump was asked in the Oval Office today about a report from The Telegraph that says he is floating a proposal that would give Putin access to rare earth minerals off the coast of Alaska. But Trump wouldn't say if that is a possibility. He also said he is more optimistic about the potential for a follow-up meeting involving Putin and Ukraine's president.
I think it's going to be a good meeting, but the more important meeting will be the second meeting that we're having. We're going to have a meeting with President Putin, President Zelensky, myself, and maybe we'll bring some of the European leaders along, maybe not. I don't know that it's going to be very important. We're going to see what happens. And I think President Putin will make peace. I think President Zelensky will make peace. We'll see if they can get along.
Russian news outlet Interfax says the Kremlin tamped down expectations for any breakthroughs from tomorrow's summit, saying there were no plans to sign documents and that it would be a, quote, big mistake to predict the results of the negotiations. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Do you enjoy working with children? How about the elderly? Are you looking for meaningful, rewarding work? Have you thought about working in a hospital or a care home, at a school, a university, or for the government? What about working at a community organization? How about choosing your hours of work to fit your lifestyle? If this sounds good to you, consider becoming a registered nurse with endless career possibilities. Complete your entire University of Saskatchewan Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree at 10 locations in Saskatchewan. Admissions.usask.ca.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till August 27th, save big on Whirlpool top-load washers and dryers. Get the Whirlpool 6.1 cubic foot top-load washer paired with the 7 cubic foot steam dryer for just $23.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot top-load washer with 7 cubic foot steam dryer for just $1,599. See in store for all the details and list of qualifying models. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast is for Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 14. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, and a high of 23. For Friday, cloudy and cool, a high of only 18. For game day on Saturday for the Ticats and Riders, sunny and a high of 25. For Sunday, cloudy and 24. And for Monday, sunny and a high of 26. Right now, sunny, windy, and 29 degrees in downtown Regina.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Experience the next level of cleanliness with B&Boa's Cleaning Services. We bring reliable service, eco-friendly practices, and flexible scheduling to homes, businesses, and industrial spaces. Whether it's your office, home, or warehouse, we'll have your space shining. B&Boa's Cleaning Services. From homes to industries, we clean with care. Visit bboascleaning.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. It's hour 2 of the show. In hour 1, we had Voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas, join us, and also Gary Brotzel from the Regina Red Sox. Game 1 of the WCBL final goes tonight. Sylvan Lake Gulls are in town. First pitch at Curry Field goes at 7 o'clock. Pretty much a sellout. They expect a couple of thousand people to show up. It's Maz in for Barney today, along with Sharky. Sharky is brought to you by Flooring Superstore. Now, last week, if you were watching the show, Sharky fixed a chainsaw on the air. Sharky has skills that Barney and I don't have. Sharky, I've spent more time on the phone booking service appointments for stuff over the past 10 days, and I just got a text from my wife. The fridge repair guy just left the house. I have been absolved. I did not wreck the ice maker in the fridge. It is broken. It had nothing to do with human. It had everything to do with a computer board. So we're getting a new one. This will be the 2nd August in a row that we are getting a new ice maker in our fridge. Thankfully, it's under warranty.
Mine's not under warranty, and it couldn't be fixed by me, so I just bought a different ice maker. Left the one in the fridge as it is. Yeah. I have it out in the man cave anyway. I need it out there more often than I need it in the kitchen.
So these past couple weeks, I've been trying to teach the kids, because kids these days are not like how we grew up. So I've been trying to teach the kids about how when I was a kid, you know, grandma and grandpa that are real nice to you and give you money and take you to all sorts of places and never give you heck. Well, they weren't always that way. So I was trying to teach them how I was taught as a kid to make ice cubes and to keep that train a-flowing. Mm-hmm. You make a batch, you dump a batch, and you keep going, and you never leave the trays empty. Well, somewhere along the way, we came off the rails, and it just got derailed, so it's back to me making ice cubes for the family, because everybody else has just put their hands up of, I can't handle this.
What do they do? What do you mean I have to take it to the sink, fill it with water, and then carefully bring it back to the fridge and put it in the freezer? Can't be done. Impossible.
Mm-mm.
How did you people live in the dark ages? Yeah.
So in 2025, as parents, what did we do to reward that behavior? We went out today and got them cell phones. All right, let's go coast to coast with Arash Madani and bring him in and talk some CFL.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Oh, sometimes it's good just to come on here and talk sports and forget about the real world, right? Just for a few hours, talk about a perfect scenario in a league where everything runs smoothly, that never has any hiccups. We're talking Canadian Football League. Week 11 kicks off tonight. Arash, the Ottawa Red Blacks, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The fans don't care. They've sold out another game in Winnipeg. But what happens on the field tonight?
It is a very good question. I look at both of these teams right now, and I'm saying to myself, all right, short week for both of these teams, Maz, right? What team overcomes that with the fatigue and lack of practice and adjustments, all of those things?
The younger
one. I
one.
also look at both of these teams and I say to myself, man, these are two secondaries in absolute disarray coming into this game. And this is where I really think, you know, all these things start to matter. This late in the season, it's the dog days. It's not quite Labor Day where people get a little bit of a jolt. You know, Winnipeg's defensive backfield has been an absolute disaster. Ottawa's continues to have this kind of injury bug coming along. Like Gavin Heslop returns for the first time since, I think, week 4, something like that. So, you know, I think it's one of those games for two teams that are in, I don't want to say Ottawa's in shambles, but like for a team that just hasn't been able to put it together, I think there's just so many question marks for both teams, especially, you know, in their secondaries.
Earlier in the season, we were looking at Ottawa going...
Nice shirt, Sharky, by the way. Nice color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it showing up as green or blue to you?
I don't know, but whatever color it is looks eerily similar to something I'm wearing. So I just think you have good taste in your.
Did you guys coordinate this before the show? Or
we talk every morning. Talking
You
about
got a
morning
group
mission.
text going that I'm not part of? Doesn't matter. Apparently, there's a few of those going around I'm not part of on the show right now. I'm not offended. I got ice maker problems.
Doesn't
I
bother
can't
you
worry
at all,
about text.
does it,
I'm not a
Matt?
part of. That doesn't bother me at all. I got ice maker problems. I can't deal with.
Hey, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Ottawa. They were 1-6, 1-7. Is this the end of Bob Dice? What happens? How do they fix this team? They have turned it around a little bit. At least they got a couple of W's in the thing. Have they taken the next step, or is this just a mirage?
I don't know, Sharky. Like, look, a couple of things. One, Drew Brown was outstanding last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's acknowledge that, right?
Yep.
A guy who threw for... He had as many incompletions as he had touchdown passes. 5 and 5.
That's a good stat.
Throwing for 373. So when you go 26 of 31 for 373, 5 tuds, and no picks, you
better win.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Here's what I liked about Ottawa for, I think, the first time we saw all season. They actually ran the football. They went to Williams' stand back. 17 carries, I think the number was. I think he was around 85 yards, something like that. And it wasn't like he just took off on a crazy one. He averaged 5 yards a carry. This is what Ottawa needs to do, and they've been allergic to the ground game this season. And I get it. Their offense is predicated on the 5 receiver set. There's 2 or 3 teams in the league that go about it that way. Toronto's one of them. But for Ottawa to really kind of establish themselves in an offense, there needs to be a commitment to the ground game. Offensive line play across, not just the league, across pro football has been terrible. And so you look at a team that before quarterback injury had success, Montreal, they're never in 5 receiver sets. Hamilton, they're never in 5 receiver sets. Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg, they are. Look at the teams that are struggling right now on the offensive side of the football. The run game has made a renaissance in the Canadian Football League. It baffles me why the Bombers don't run the football more with Oliveira back there. But to me, if Ottawa's going to creep back into this thing, Stanback's got to be a big part of this. Now we'll see if he is.
Arash, after we had you on Tuesday, some of the comments online is I was a Bomber apologist with you to be like, oh, you're feeling bad because the Bomber. Good. Well, but we had Suitor on. He still thinks because, like you had said, Brady Oliveira, it's not the Brady Oliveira show and they're locking it down. He still thinks that he's hurt. Yes, he's healthy enough to play, but he's not what he was before that shoulder injury. And that's the hard part about watching this Bomber football team is to be like, they're kind of giving up on the run. And that's something that they don't usually do. Forget the fourth quarter if they get a lead. Even then, but even establishing that run game, it's not as consistent as it was. And I agree with you. I think that's what's hampering them as well. And they're forced into the pass.
Yes. Let me just stop you.
Okay.
Let's stop dancing around what's going on in Winnipeg right now. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Let's just address the issue head on. Offensive coordinator seems to be getting outcoached. Receivers aren't good enough. Their top 2 receivers from last season are playing in other cities. Dylan Mitchell, for reasons who knows why, just got into the lineup last week after getting a bunch of cash in the offseason in a signing bonus. You just wonder, okay, we can talk about Oliveira, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, but, these are the issues facing this team right now. And I'll tell you what else, guys. For the last 4, 5, 6 years, you talk to people in that Winnipeg locker room, and players would come out and say, I would lay it all on the line for Mike O'Shea. I would do anything for Mike O'Shea. He's a foxhole guy, etc. When's the last time any of that has come out of the Winnipeg locker room? I haven't heard that in a while.
No.
Things aren't right there on a lot of different levels. And we can get really granular and talk about how many carries Oliveira is getting. There are real problems in Winnipeg. They have overvalued veterans long in the tooth. There is this bizarre loyalty that O'Shea continues to have. Personally, I think he's very close, if not already, to have lost the locker room, and they just continue to lose football games. And here we are. Here we are. This is the body of work. And if we're in a business of winning games, if we're in a business of you are what your record says you are, it has not been a favorable last 4 or 5 weeks in Winnipeg. And I don't know and see how it gets better, to be quite honest with you.
It's interesting you say that because I have the same impression of Winnipeg, that they're not all on the same page. They're a team, but they're not playing like a team. They're not playing as a group. It seems like they don't get along. You just watch them on the field. They don't look like they're interested in what each other's doing. That could be age, because I think they are the oldest team in the league, are they not?
Yeah, like Sharky, I think a lot of us are guessing when it comes to that part of it, but I think this is that they had a lot of success for a long time, right? And everybody gets along. And then and I don't mean to sound like a broken record here. I really don't. But when you lose a bunch of Grey Cups in a row that you led at the half, a lot of guys start questioning why and how that happened. And that just it might go away after the first one. It lingers after the second. And then after the third, you start questioning things. And when people somebody asked me once, what does the air quote distraction in the locker room actually mean? It means that after practice, after meetings, before meetings, whatever you want to say, are guys talking about how we're going to win, or are guys talking about what the issues are and what's bothering them and the airing of grievances? And I'm just getting the sense there's a lot of airing of grievances going on, especially with how Winnipeg, I get it. They've been to 5 Grey Cups. I get it. But when you lose 3, there are lingering wounds there that continue. And then, on and on, everything I said at the beginning of the topic of the Bombers. I just don't see it getting significantly better there.
As a Saskatchewan fan, I love the smell to the east of rotting old things over there. That's
cry
just
you
fine.
a bucket of tears, huh?
Yeah,
Sharky?
yeah. That's something I can live with every day. Let that crap go away. Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's a certain group of people that don't care, Bomber fans, because they sold out another game. And when I saw the graphic go up on social media the other day, I'm like, there's really nothing going on in Winnipeg to be like, you're going to watch the Ottawa Red Blacks play the Bombers. And I'm like, good on you. Because you know what? They easily could be like, you guys aren't playing great. Ottawa's not a great draw. Maybe we'll stay away. So kudos to them, because there's not enough of that in the CFL. So as far as if the team's faltering, the fan base isn't, the loyalty, and a little jealous, because we always talk in Rider Nation, we're the best fans in the CFL. Well, the best fans are selling out stadiums on a Thursday night with a crappy team coming to town.
And this is where it actually makes a difference tonight on the field. Ottawa runs, I asked around today, because this is what the kind of eyeball test shows. We don't have advanced stats. I asked around to some coaches and people who monitor this stuff, who have more time to do these things than we do. Anyway, where I'm going with this is Ottawa runs a lot of no huddle, the most no huddle of any team in the league. Well, that's a problem when you're going into a sold out hostile environment for a fan base that really needs a win. So I just think that tonight, that actually plays a massive home field advantage for the Bombers, unless they fall behind.
It's 14-0 early.
All right. And honestly, I think that there's this kind of like adage in sport that winning hides a lot of things. The John Madden line, winning's the best deodorant. Here's the other thing, in a gate-driven league like the CFL, sellouts hide a lot of things. Money hides a lot of things. There should be some things here. There are some, I don't want to call them 5 alarm bell fires, but little brush fires here are starting to spread, and Wade Miller is not addressing them. And maybe the president of the football team there in Winnipeg is just saying, well, you know, we got to sell out this week. We got to sell out for the Banjo Bowl.
What's
It's going
the
to
worry?
make, what,
Yeah,
11
what's
in
the
a
worry?
row?
Yeah,
Well, it's great.
what do we
keep
care?
getting the
Everything's
Grey
good.
Cups. What's the problem? Right?
Everything's good. Yeah.
I want to ask you about this. Like, I'm sure going to get it. God, can you talk about Winnipeg more? All right, let's move on. I want to ask the question. Toronto, Edmonton, and we chatted about this on Tuesday. Ryan Dinwiddie, said, speaking of rosters that get pillaged every year because of free agency and success and all of that, if the Argos go into Edmonton and don't win tomorrow night, is there any reason to worry about Ryan Dinwiddie head coach wise? To me, there shouldn't be. He's only given you success, but you are what your record says you are. Can any of this be pinned on him if they lose tomorrow?
The immediate answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's why. One, he doesn't have a quarterback. He hasn't had a quarterback since the fourth quarter of the East Final last year. Let's be real.
Agreed.
Without a quarterback, they went and won the Grey Cup as an underdog. They went and won the Grey Cup trailing at the half. 2, they have not had a player personnel department in I don't know how long. Their general manager, by title, is somebody who is out there who is a community ambassador. They had a player personnel director, Vince Magri, who 15 months ago got an amazing opportunity with the Buffalo Bills, was never replaced. If we're being real, if we're being honest, it's just all caught up to them at this point. When you don't have a quarterback, when you don't have somebody getting you players, when you don't have somebody finding you talent, when you don't have somebody digging into the weeds of Canadians, etc., and on and on and on it goes, when you don't have a general manager who every day is not finger on the pulse of what's important for the overall talent on the football team, this is what's going to happen. The Toronto Argonauts roster, I don't care who's coaching it, they're not winning anything. So to me, this is all catching up. Like, there's a major come to Jesus that's going to be required for that franchise this off season, and it's going to need a total rehaul. The coach isn't the problem; it's what's happening in the front office that's going to need a lot of reshaping. And ultimately, Maz, to bring your question full circle, if the Argos lose to Edmonton, and who knows what's going to happen. If the Argos lose to Edmonton, honestly, the most irresponsible thing the franchise could do is activate Chad Kelly moving forward. Sit him the rest of the season, make sure he's fully healthy. If it means he's practicing the last 2-3 weeks of the year, fine. But make sure he's 100% coming off a catastrophic injury, because what's the point right now with this team? Your second highest paid player smashed his shoulder driving a scooter to practice. You're not even going to protect your quarterback at this point. So that to me is the story in Toronto.
The whole season's wrapped up in a scooter accident. That's basically
If you want, the pièce de résistance to the whole thing, Sharky, totally.
So speaking of quarterbacks, yesterday McLeod Bethel Thompson goes on the 6th game for Montreal, and they bring in Cameron Dukes. And some are like, is Bethel Thompson hurt? Is it like, listen, you did us a favor, we'll do you a favor, we'll pay you, you ride off into the sunset, we got to salvage this till Davis Alexander comes back. Like, what's really going on there?
I don't know, but the combination of Caleb Evans, McLeod Bethel Thompson, and Cameron Dukes.
That's a
when does
QB
Arash
room, if you ask
Madani?
me.
When does Arash Madani go under center?
Yeah, Sharky, it's between you and me. Who's got the nicer green golf shirt?
I can't even throw a fit. Yeah, like I'm no good. Yeah.
No.
And like this is why, like, I find this time of year hilarious. Just like early May's hilarious when it comes to over-unders on the NFL season. The whole, like, how many games is a team going to win? Man, it is a football season. You have no idea what's going to happen. 4 weeks in, Davis Alexander was on his way to becoming the MOP.
Yep.
And now he can't, like, the hamstrings become a problem. And now Montreal's in total disarray, losing to Cody Fajardo. Like, God help us. So you just don't know. And the moral to this story is, like, if anybody out there listening, watching, whatever, can devise a medical device that can cure hamstring issues, whew. As a Vikings fan, I'd love to see Justin Jefferson out there this preseason. He's still hurt. I think a lot of people in Montreal right now would love to see their franchise quarterback, because when Cameron Dukes is getting signed,
getting phoned, let alone signed.
Oh,
getting
right.
phoned.
Thank you, Sharky. Thank you. Well said.
Hey, what a Cam Dukes ever? He never said anything bad about you guys. All right, let's switch to baseball. The Jays win today, beat the Cubs 2-1. They're quietly doing their thing. First team to 70 wins. They're going along. Nobody's complaining about the front office. That's kind of nice. A couple other teams here that just keep clipping along. What is it about the LA Angels, the Anaheim Angels or whatever? Are they Dodger kryptonite? Man, do they seem to have the Dodgers number these days.
And Shohei Ohtani, driving into a triple play or whatever it was. Here's what's amazing about 162. Like, there's so many things in the nuance of a baseball season. Here we are, the middle of August. There's no end in sight. Talk about dog days. It's right about now in a baseball season. I don't know, guys, if you saw what's going on in Milwaukee. I think this is one of the greatest things to happen in sports. They have won 12 straight games. Well, what does that mean? Okay, yeah, they've won 12 in a row. But there is a local restaurant chain named George Webb that said if the Brewers ever win 12 in a row, the entire city gets burgers, gets free burgers. And last night, the Brewers win their 12th straight game, and Brendan Woodruff, a longtime Milwaukee pitcher, who's been there through NLCSs, whatever, he said that's as much pressure as I faced in my career, because the entire city is waiting on free burgers. Boom.
Do you think he bought insurance on that? Like,
That reeks of the Office episode Michael Scott and Scott's Tots, when he promises all the kids he's going to pay for their college tuition, and then next thing you know, that's how. But it's funny. So Milwaukee is one of the best teams in baseball, and they're not the highest payroll. They're not anything. Does Major League Baseball want the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series? Let's be honest. I'm thinking no. Like, you've got Dodgers, you've got Yankees, you've got Blue Jays, you've got all of that. Milwaukee? Come on.
I'll tell you, Major League Baseball would prefer the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series than the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Oh, well, that's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given.
I did an NLCS 1 year, 7 years ago. And it was Brewers-Dodgers, and it got to Game 7. And I'll never forget, Yasiel Puig hits this home run, and he's crossing second base, just, fist pumps all over. And I'm like, is that Yasiel Puig rounding second base with the fist pumps, or is that Rob Manfred happy that it's going to be the Dodgers. The LA market's going to be represented there, and not a bunch of Packer fans who like cheese.
It's good to have it spread around, though. It can't be the Dodgers and the Yankees every year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's good for a mix. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's up to the people that run baseball, though, Sharky, they prefer like the Mets and the Red Sox. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're not going to get the Rockies and the Athletics. I'll tell you that.
Correct.
That's not going to happen.
It's like the NHL. If I'm Gary Bettman, who wears Skechers, and I like Skechers, Gary is never admitting on the record that he never wants to see the Winnipeg Jets in a Stanley Cup final. Privately, he may say, but sure, we'd love Winnipeg. No, you don't. So in the past 24 hours, everybody's algorithm on social media is new heights. Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, Taylor Swift blowing up the internet, blowing up YouTube. 10 million views in 16 hours. Arash, you've been in this business a long time. Viewers, clicks, likes, listens, and she just put on a master class over the past 36 hours of how to wreck social media. Wow.
Oh, man. You know, like, here's what I find amazing and awesome about this. Why there's hope for all of us. Okay? Like, Travis and Jason Kelce are from a suburb in Ohio. They were college roommates with Zach Caleros, like three dummies playing N64 and ordering burrito bowls. And now Travis and Jason have signed a $100 million podcast deal, and Travis is dating the most famous woman in the world. Like, wow. Like, Travis was kicked off the team in university and was working in a call center, and things weren't going his way. And now look at old Travis Kelce.
You're saying there's a chance.
Oh, what? Like the whole what happened to all that 1 in a million talk? Like it went from Jim Carrey to Travis Kelce.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah.
Can you imagine him telling the other people in the call center, I'm going to win the Super Bowl and date Taylor Swift?
Or in that same apartment building when they were playing at Cincinnati in college. Like, wow.
Even if it doesn't last, and he's famous as well and has made money, marry her even for a couple of years, because you're not going to get it because there's going to be a prenup. You're not touching her money. But People Magazine will give you $100 million for your wedding photos. You'll get half of that. Do that to really cement it. You go 4 or 5 years, that's a good celebrity marriage, right? They kind of, in watching that podcast, it seems like they genuinely like each other, although hey, listen, I thought that Joni and Chachi were going to work out too long-term on Happy Days, so I'm not the best judge of character when it comes to celebrity romance, but they actually seem like they like each other genuinely.
Here's, okay, I know nothing of which you speak. I'll just be honest. But I will tell you this.
You know Joni and Chachi. You know Happy Days.
Yeah. Fortunate enough to cover the last few Super Bowls, talking to people around Kansas City and the organization. That dude is not caught up in celebrity when it comes to the season. Like, he spends a ton of time in the film room. He spends a ton of time on his body. He spends a ton of time on recovery. He goes to tight end university and like works with young guys on like every nuance of the position and the craft. So yeah, he's A-list because of his +1, not because of what he does on the field. And I think he knows that. But man, ball player too. First ballot, Canton.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
It's Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Garley, Smart Investing Solutions. Arash, we'll catch up with you on Tuesday. As always, enjoy that Bomber game tonight from one apologist to another. We'll get our blue on after the show is over tonight. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Coach Corey Mace of the Saskatchewan Roughriders joins us here on the Sports Cage on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist.
We'll look back at some of the big shakers and movers of the country music scene. Some cats reinvented themselves, others, they did what works for them the best. We'll feature the top 25 on your Country Music Rewind.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist. Brought to you by Crawford's No Frills. Saturday afternoons at 4 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on Country's Greatest Hits, 620 CKRM.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Len had questions, he talked to Brian Golly.
Brian and I sat down, spent quite a bit of time with me initially, and explained to me how he does things, how his business works, and I was pretty impressed. So ever since then, I've moved everything over, and I've been really happy with him.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
I would recommend him to anyone.
This is where we play. This is where we live. Extreme Hockey and Sport is where we shop when we need the gear for our game in our town. Hockey is in our blood as much as the prairies themselves. Extreme Hockey and Sport understands this. That's why they provide the Saskatchewan Stars of tomorrow only the best. Every level, any budget, expert fit. They're your local sit and fit hockey shop. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, Regina's Hockey Shop.
Great, my basement flooded and now my contractor says I have to use his flooring guy.
Whoa, that's not how it works. You can choose where to go, not him, not his buddy Doug.
Seriously?
Heck yeah! At Flooring Superstore, we've been helping people with insurance claims for over 20 years. Homes, farms, businesses, cabins, no kickbacks, just solid advice.
Flooring Superstore, quality floor coverings at the best price. FlooringSuperstoreRegina.ca.
Calling all Rider fans. The bonus deadline for the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is midnight tomorrow. Score the ultimate fan tailgate prize, a 2025 Ranger Raptor packed with gear and Rider season tickets, or choose $85,000 in cash. Plus, there are over 1,000 more prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Don't miss out. Bonus deadline is midnight tomorrow. Get your tickets at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR250022. Please play responsibly.
Proven by countless farmers, 900 Series fence sprayers set the standard for your crops, and it's available at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Featuring 370 horsepower, 132-foot boom, 1,580-gallon tank, smart drive 4-wheel steering, and Liquid Logic recirculating boom, the 900 Series fence sprayers are backed by a 3-year, 2,000-hour Gold Star warranty. Leaders drive Fendt. To learn more about making your crops successful, visit Nick's Service today. nicksservice.com.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Can I help you?
Name's Terry Touchdown, sent by Western Pizza. I'm here to deliver the Saskatchewan Roughriders sweet deal. A large 3-topping pizza, 4 sticks of Greek souvlaki, a large Caesar salad, and a liter of soda. All for just $48.95 plus tax. And you're entered to win luxury suite tickets to watch the Riders, like a VIP.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Our clutch performer comes from the Canada Summer Games in Newfoundland. Saskatchewan has 2 medals now. Bear Robertson won a bronze in the men's 1,000-meter canoe. Bear, congratulations.
Nice
All right,
work.
It is Thursday. It is Thursday, and as always, a staple on Thursday afternoons around this time. Let's do it. Let's get into the NASCAR report.
The Sports Cage NASCAR Report, where rubbin' is racing, is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. Visit croftelectric.com and on all socials.
As you know, NASCAR has... Whoa, go ahead.
Oh, no. I mentioned off the top of the show that today's NASCAR report was going to be a little different, a little special, and that if you are not a spiritual person, maybe this isn't going to be for you, but if you are a fan of the sport, we found something very appropriate for today. Before Sharky does his best work, we're going to do this like it is a NASCAR race. We found, and this has gone viral on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a NASCAR prayer before Sharky takes over. Let's hit it, Colson. Anytime,
Heavenly
fire
Father,
away.
we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa, and my two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the little Eves. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Oh, Sharky. Is that not the best when he thanks the Lord for his smoking hot wife?
Holy Dinah. How do you follow that? Like that? Yeah, you got to go and have a great race now. Yeah. Holy smokes.
I love the fact you see the drivers and the pit crews and they're cracking. They're trying not to laugh. But once he hits the smoking hot wife, and I'm like,
they got no choice.
I'm like, wow, Ricky Bobby is doing grace before the race today. All right. Now Sharky has to follow that up with our NASCAR report for this
I don't know
week.
if I can follow it up, but I will tell you this. NASCAR's got two kinds of tracks. They do road courses for about 6 races, and then they do the ovals. But if you're a road course, bet on Shane Van Gisbergen. The New Zealander has 4 wins this year. They're all on road courses, including last week at Watkins Glen. It's unique to see a driver excel a one-course layout over all the others. SVG, as he's nicknamed on the non-road courses, has placed an average of 26th, and on the only road course that he didn't win, he finished 6th. So if it's not a road course, don't bet on SVG. Overall standings have changed a little bit. Kyle Larson's dropping 2 spots. He's now behind Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell. Larson sits 5th. William Byron still leads. Playoff standings have not changed, with 2 races left to secure your spot in the field of 16. Tyler Reddick is the highest point getter of the non-winners. He's got 117 points above the cut line. Alex Bowman has 60 points above the cutoff, and Chris Buescher, who has the final playoff spot right now, has a 24-point lead on Ryan Preece. Buescher has a bad race in the next 2, and Preece doesn't. That'll switch. So, winning, you're in. Points are one thing, but winning guarantees you a spot. There's 2 races left to guarantee yourself a spot in the field of 16. This week is the Cookout 400 on the 3/4-mile track at Richmond. So this is truly rubbing his racing. This is banging and crashing. So if you have a favorite, all bets are off. This will be the biggest challenge of the year for these guys. There are no guarantees on this track except that Shane Van Gisbergen will not do well because it is not a road course. That's all I can tell you. So there's your NASCAR report for Croft Electric.
Now that boogity thing, is that just him, or is that a thing in NASCAR that I just don't know about?
It's one of the Wallaces, and I can't remember his first name off the top of my head. He always says boogity, 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 let's go racing. And so that's his start, or his last piece that he does before they start the race. So interesting that the pastor chose to add that to his prayer. Oh, and my smoking hot wife. Yeah, holy smokes.
My smoking hot wife. That to me, and I was watching that because I was watching it with no sound, but then when I turned the sound on, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till me and Sharky get to do the NASCAR report, because we got to play this.
He threw Dodge in, and they don't even have any cars in the circuit, so Dodge doesn't even participate in NASCAR, but he threw their name in there just so they didn't get left out. So nice of him to do that.
Sharky, there's a lot of Mopar guys that are still living the dream.
Yeah,
that somehow
that Challenger's gonna get. That Challenger's gonna get in there.
Then we know.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I think we got to take another break here. We want to try and get Coach Mace in before the top of the hour from practice today. We got to check in at Flowing Springs with Brian Raymond. So let's do that. We'll take another break here. This is the home of local sports in Saskatchewan. It's the Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
Get ready to kick some serious Barossa this harvest. You've put in the time, put in the work, put in all that effort to get here, and now it's go time. Barossa & Sons is with you. Find everything you need this harvest season with trusted used equipment, combines to headers, augers to grain carts. Visit online or stop by in person. We're in go mode with you. Everything's online at ebarassa.com. You're in it to bin it dealer.
APAS is there when you can't be. As farmers and ranchers, you need to fight increasing costs and regulation. But how are you supposed to be everywhere at once? You're busy with harvest, so you don't have time for meetings with politicians, presentations to committees, and tracking legislation that will affect your farm. This is where APAS comes in. Your APAS representative, the APAS Board of Directors, and the Canadian Federation of Agriculture all work together to represent you. APAS is there when you can't be. Visit apas.ca and become a member today.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Yar, do you fancy yourself a bit of a price pirate?
Get ready to pillage and plunder Tuesday treasures at Freeze Tallman.
It's a treasure trove of clearance items on display at the bow.
Or the front of the store. With new items announced on Tuesday, you'll never know the bounty you'll find. Check the website for updates or stop by the store in person.
Tuesday treasures. No treasure maps needed.
Visit freezetallman.com. Regina location only. Freeze Tallman.
Let's get you building.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
WCBL Championship starts tonight at Curry Field. The Regina Red Sox taking on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. It's game one of the best of three. First pitch goes at 7. They're expecting a sellout of a couple thousand fans. If you're headed down to the ballpark, it should be a great night for baseball. Games 2 and 3 will be played in Sylvan Lake tomorrow and Saturday. Ugh, that's a 10.5-hour bus ride. Jays beat the Cubs earlier today, 2-1 at Skydome. They'll play the Rangers tomorrow. And Week 11 starts tonight in the CFL with the Ottawa Red Blacks in Winnipeg to take on the Blue Bombers. And that's your Sports Ticker for Extreme Hockey and Sport. All right, time to go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. And as we always do, a couple times a week, we chat with Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs. Brian, I was watching that FedEx Challenge on the weekend, and I'm not as good as JJ Spawn, and I'm not as good as Justin Rose. So as far as the golf lessons you can offer, how long is it going to take for me to get to where those guys are at? To be
well, if you're close, it won't take very long. You know what? The thing you find out about that is that everybody's a little bit different, and you sort of have to adapt what you're talking about and how you approach things based on the needs of that person. So you just have to be adaptable. That's all.
Okay, all right. That was some pretty intense golf. Have you ever seen anybody ever play the 18th green again and again and again? We all have nightmares, right, Sharky, of playing the same hole again in our brain because it's terrorized our scorecard.
I don't even want to tell you what happened to me last weekend. No, it's not worth repeating. No.
Yeah, different tournaments have different rules and how they settle playoffs and that sort of thing, and some of them, largely because of time, they may just do the two holes because it's easier to just go back and forth on the same hole. Some tournaments, they'll play the whole course the next day.
Yeah,
I think the U.S. Open might be the one that does that.
Do you have those sort of tournaments at Flowing Springs, Brian? Do you have those sort of tournaments?
No, not really. We really don't have time for people to keep playing the 18th hole over and over again.
Hey, listen, if I decide to take 7 shots from the bunker using 7 different golf balls, listen, I'm just trying to get better, right? I'm just trying to improve my golf game. I'm looking at this forecast, Brian. Sunny and 24 on Saturday, sunny and 26 on Sunday. One of these dog days of summer, perfect weekends for golf.
Oh, absolutely. And, our twilight specials apply every day of the week, including on the weekend. So after 3 o'clock, it's $38. After 6 o'clock, it's $22. And I might add that if you're looking to improve your game, we have a phenomenal driving range to come out and play on. All grass tees, so there's no mats or anything. You don't have to worry about damaging your clubs or your arms. It's nice. It's nice.
Still lots of tee times available for this weekend, even though we got a Rider game going on, Brad?
Yeah, and actually the tee times are going quickly, but we still have openings on Saturday morning where both people might want to come into town and maybe play a few holes. Even and we do have a 9-hole rate. We should tell people that. They don't have to necessarily play 18 holes. So if you want to come in on Saturday and play 9 holes and go to the game, perfect.
Ideal. All right, best way to get a...
Yeah, how do they get a hold of you?
I was just say best... Yeah, and book that tee time.
Just give us a call at area code 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
It's funny, Sharky, some of the best thing, somebody at Flowing Springs today walked back to their vehicle and had the best round of their life. And somebody today at Flowing Springs walked back to their vehicle and probably had the worst round of their life. That's a golf course, day in and day out. There's the how awesome it is, and then there's the falling off the cliff side of owning a set of golf clubs.
I had the falling off the cliff side last weekend. Literally thought about throwing them in the garbage. Thought the course might actually ask me to leave and never come back. That's how bad I was. But no, they're still going to take my money. They're still going to let me back on there and let me play again. I think under supervision. But it was a disaster. Man, still having nightmares.
Another hour. Another hour's in the books here on the Sportscage this Thursday afternoon. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Coming back, Glen, Suitor, and we'll do some press coverage with Suits in just a couple of minutes here on the home of Saskatchewan Roughrider football, 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitco's at 10. The pregame show's at 12. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 1. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by Salford Equipment, Western Ag Professional Agronomy, and the Saskatchewan NDP Caucus. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
For the leanest, meanest prices in the crop input industry, call Johnston's Grain. Johnston's offer the best prices in Western Canada on a huge range of products, including seed treatments, inoculants, glyphosate, pre-burn tank mixes, in-crop herbicides and insecticides, fungicides, plant growth stimulants, water conditioners, desiccants, and more. Johnston's has low overhead and top-notch logistics so they can deliver products at ultra-competitive prices. Call 844-324-7778 and ask to speak to an agronomist.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Come Come watch former pro and collegiate level players battle it out for the national championship. The Baseball Canada Men's National Championships are coming to Optimus Park in Curry Field. Get a full event pass for just $50 or grab a day pass for $20. Twilight games after 5 p.m. are only $10. Tickets are available at the gate. August 20th opening ceremonies and Home Run Derby are completely free. Bring a glove. These bats don't miss. The Baseball Canada Men's National Championships are coming to Optimus Park in Curry Field. See you at the park.
The rivalry hits the fairway at the 3rd Annual Labor Day Golf Classic at Aspen Links, Saturday, August 30th. The most fan-friendly tourney. CFL alumni Dan Clark, Andrew Green, Luke Mullender, and more tee it up for Team Green and White versus Team Blue and Gold, and you're invited. Lunch at 11, shotgun start at noon, dinner at 6, and the after party kicks off at 8. All proceeds support Regina Minor football, so come swing for a cause. Register now by emailing info@aspenlinks.ca. Aspen Links. Golf. Rivalry. Legacy.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Ugh, what do I want for supper? There's a bag of baby carrots, a slice of cheese that looks haunted.
Step away from the sad cheese, Dave.
What, the fridge? Since when do you talk?
Since you've been standing here for 10 minutes whispering pizza or cereal like it's a hostage negotiation. I'll make this simple. Order Western Pizza. You are welcome.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Country Corner, brought to you by Municipal Hail Insurance. Proudly serving farmers. MunicipalHail.ca.
The 25th Annual Whitewood Chickachaz Rodeo is this weekend. Don't miss an Indigenous dance troupe Friday at 6:30. Shea Istash performs Friday, and there's DJ music by CRT Sound Saturday, plus a full canteen. Adults $15, kids 7 to 12 are 8, and 6 and under free. Weekend passes $25. Regina is hosting the Baseball Canada Men's National Championship August 21st to 24th at Curry Field and Optimus Park. Exciting baseball action with 10 teams from across the country. Details at reginatrappers.ca. And Danceland at Manitou Beach presents SCMA multi-award winner JJ Voss and a damn good band. Saturday, September 13th. There's a barbecue buffet or burger and beer and a bus tour departing from Regina. Tickets and information at Danceland.ca.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. We are the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
Good evening. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Most areas of the province got plenty of rain this past week. The rain boosted soil moisture levels for cropland, hayland, and pastureland. However, crops extension specialist Tice Masich says the moisture stopped any field work.
So a lot of desiccation efforts were slowed because the rain can't desiccate when it's wet. And then same with any harvest that was going on last week. It was significantly slowed this week and very little progress was made because there was just a lot of rain, especially in the southwest.
The latest rainfall map shows most areas got between 20 and over 50 millimeters of precipitation, with a few small areas around the province getting 10 millimeters or less. Provincially funded specialized police teams seized 73 firearms and more than 16 kilograms of illicit drugs in the first 6 months of 2025. Saskatchewan's municipal crime reduction teams and Saskatchewan trafficking response teams laid 445 charges against 91 people across Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Regina. Officers also opened 62 human trafficking files. Officials say the seizures, arrests, and interventions are disrupting organized crime and taking dangerous drugs and weapons off the streets. The province says ongoing investment in these specialized units is critical for community safety. Saskatchewan's plan to keep coal-fired power plants running past 2029 could break federal law, according to the Saskatchewan Environmental Society. Ottawa requires coal plants to close or meet emissions limits by 2030. Executive Director Peter Brotzel says Premier Scott Moe has told Sask Power workers their jobs will continue beyond the deadline. The province wants federal rules changed and says coal is needed for affordable electricity. Environmental groups have launched a legal challenge, which went before a judge earlier this week. Some Air Canada flights that were set to take off today have been cancelled as the airline braces for a work stoppage this weekend. The union that represents around 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants is set to strike at 1 a.m. on Saturday, with the airline planning to lock them out at around the same time. Air Canada says customers whose flights are cancelled will be eligible for a full refund. It says it has almost made arrangements with other Canadian and foreign carriers in order to provide alternative travel options to the extent possible. And U.S. President Donald Trump says tomorrow's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin could go either way.
The president describes the Anchorage summit as merely a table setter for a broader sit-down that would include the Ukrainian leader.
I'd like to see it happen very quickly, very shortly after this meeting. I'd like to see it actually happen maybe in Alaska where we just stay because it's so much easier.
In the Oval Office, Trump told reporters he'll know within minutes of meeting with Vladimir Putin whether the talks will prove to be successful.
And if it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Let's get out on the water. Now is the best time of year to buy a boat or pontoon at Kevin's Marine. Cast a line in a Lund fishing boat. Take the family out on a Four Winds boat. Or head out on a pontoon by Harris or Crest. Powered by Mercury Motors at the lowest prices of the year. There are manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a great selection of boats and pontoons. Plus Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. Enjoy your summer. Get out on the water. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
This back-to-school season, don't be prehistoric.
Mom, my phone is basically a fossil.
Sweetie, your phone's older than a T-Rex.
Time to evolve at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
They have new phones, back-to-school deals, internet and max TV stream, and no extinct data plans.
In 2025, there's no excuse to roam with a Jurassic phone. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel, echosound.ca.
Your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and on all socials. And also for Line-X Regina, Serious Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Now, your Precision Weather Forecast.
A partly cloudy sky through the nighttime tonight, temperature dropping off to around 8. The wind still a bit strong at times, especially early on, but as the night goes on, that wind will tend to diminish, and it will continue to do so through the day on Friday. A mainly sunny sky. Wind in the morning, northwest 15 to 25. It shifts around into the east, becoming nearly calm for the afternoon. The high, though, only around 20. In and out of cloud cover, a couple of isolated showers for Friday night. Isolated, but locally heavy where they do develop. Temperature down to around 12. The wind starts to pick back up. Out of the east, 15 to 30, and then east to southeast, 25 to 45, gusting over 60 on Saturday. Warm air right on the verge of coming in, brings in a few scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the day. We get back to normal, around 25 for the high. Chance for a couple of isolated showers and storms on Sunday, too, with a high of 27. And Monday, in and out of showers and thunderstorms, even more widespread, the high up to 27. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X, make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till August 27th, save big on Whirlpool top-load washers and dryers. Get the Whirlpool 6.1 cubic foot top-load washer paired with the 7 cubic foot steam dryer for just $23.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot top-load washer with 7 cubic foot steam dryer for just $1,599. See in store for all the details and list of qualifying models. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications. Trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's Championship Thursday here in Regina. Tonight, the WCBL final will get underway. You've got the Regina Red Sox taking on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Game 1, Curry Field, first pitch 7 o'clock. It's Maz in for Barney along with Sharky. And when we had Gary Brotzel on earlier, did Gary give you an answer about if, because it's going to be sold out, did he give you an answer if you show up with $20, will you be turned away? I didn't get a definitive on that one.
At some point they have to, but I continue to advise you to go with your $20 bill because Brotzel likes $20 bills. He'll take it.
Kudos. The other night, the clutch performer, the 1,700 fans that showed up when they beat the Berries, and that was awesome. And yeah, I mean, there's no, and it's going to be a nice night for baseball.
Great night.
Go Sox. Games 2 and 3 will be in Sylvan Lake because after the game, they get a little bit of sleep. And Gary said they're on the bus tomorrow. It's a 10.5-hour bus ride. There's no quick way to get to Sylvan Lake, which is basically Red Deer. It's long. It's not all divided highway.
It's not good.
Treacherous to say.
I don't even know which way they would go. Like, it's just bad.
Like, are you good? Yeah, like, are you gonna? Yeah, there's no quick way. No quick way to get there.
Like, you can go to Kenniston and across, but that's not great. You end up in Kindersley, then through Hannah all the way to. Then you got to turn to go to. I don't know where maybe Calgary and turn and go north. Yeah, that might be the fastest.
Final hour of the Sports Cage on this Thursday afternoon. Yeah, Gary Brotzel dropped by. Arash Madani has been on. We're going to get to Glen Suitor in just a minute. As always, if you'd like to be part of the show, the Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. What are you thinking about the Sox and the Sylvan Lake Gulls tonight? Could just be it. And like Gary said, they've only got 2 starters. So if they're winning this championship, it's by committee. Anybody and everybody with a uniform, that could be Gary, that could be Rye. You could be out there.
You could be pitching. Yeah.
You could be in right field for the 8th inning if they need to call you up if we get short bodies. Let's do a little press coverage with Glen Suitor here on the Sports Cage.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Suits joins us on the phone this evening in enemy territory. He's in Winnipeg because he's calling the Bomber Red-Black game tonight. And Sharky has the first question this afternoon. Suits, fire away, Sharky.
Suits, you know what it is. I'm very concerned. How's Bob the Bear?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen Bob for about 2 weeks, and I'm a little concerned too, Sharky, because I'm worried that, maybe
there's been a relocation.
Yeah, maybe a relocation. Hopefully, if they have done that, that's hopefully what they did, and it's not to put the Bear down. Because there's been an incident. I haven't heard anything. I'm sure it would have been on the news. So maybe Bob's just roaming around. But on Tuesday, I scoured my outside cameras in my house, and I found a shot of a smaller bear on my driveway last Tuesday. So what I'm thinking now might be happening is Bob is introducing his family to the neighborhood. He's bringing them around, and he probably looked at my garbage, said, there's an occasional coho salmon remains in that garbage can there. If we go down the street a little bit, this is the pizza house. I'm sure he's filling in his family because there was a smaller one on Tuesday, and I took a picture of it. And, I don't know if the whole family's coming or it's just a completely different bear or whatever. But it certainly wasn't Bob because I can tell Bob he's big. He's a lot bigger than that one.
Are we sure it's Bob or is it Betty?
You know what? It might be Betty.
Betty could be bringing the kids. Yeah.
That's a great point, we just sort of well, we looked at the size of his head, and I think we said that's got to be a guy.
Yeah,
It's funny, Suits, while you're giving that answer, I just Googled hunting rifles, and what came up, the 9 best hunting rifles in 2025. Sharky, you may know this. The Ruger American Gen 2. We have a Tikka T3X. We have a Sacco S20 Hunter. That's what may have happened to Bob the Bear. He may be a statistic in this article that I just found online as far as efficiency.
We might have to reach out to the BC Ministry of Environment and the game wardens there and see if we can find some information on what's happened to Bob the Bear from. Is it North Van or West Van? Where is he?
Yeah, North Vancouver. And Maz, by saying what you said about the hunting rifles, you are going to polarize the audience in a big way.
We talk about hunting lots when I'm on the show, Suits. It's okay. We polarize anyway.
Suits, you've lived in this province. You know how to read the room. There's more people that want the bear as a trophy than somebody that's running wild, sitting on decks, watching people watch Wheel of Fortune. So,
hey, I hear you guys. I'm all like, listen. My father was a hunter. I went hunting with him before he passed years ago. So, yeah, I get it.
Nice.
And I just, there's two sides to this discussion, and please don't tell my wife we talked about hunting rifles.
Hey, let's get you out of hot water with the missus. Let's talk football. Bombers, Red Blacks tonight. Who needs this win more, Ottawa or Winnipeg, and why?
Well, if you just look at the standings, 3 wins, and Ottawa is sort of getting behind the 8 ball. There are 3 teams really: Ottawa, Edmonton, Toronto. That and Edmonton and Toronto play tomorrow night. So those 2 teams have 2 wins. Ottawa 3. The crossover is already being discussed, and we're not even past Labor Day yet because the standings are shaping up that way. And so from a standings point of view, Ottawa needs to get that 4th win of the season. From a maintain the cloak of dagger or cloak of invincibility persona that the Bombers have had for the last 5 years, they need to win this game tonight. Because I think here in Winnipeg, and I've been reading a lot of the articles, here in Winnipeg, they're saying, what's wrong with this team? I mean, they're dissecting it top to bottom, that this is not a team that's trending in the right direction and maybe in big trouble when it comes to playoffs. So for that reason, and the sellout crowds that keep coming out, I guess Winnipeg needs it more.
Interesting, because I'd have thought the other way. I really would have. I would have thought Ottawa's Winnipeg's got a lot on their shoulders. They've got a lot of history of doing well, but Ottawa really needs to stay on track. 2 wins, 3 wins in a row, really get some momentum. I think Ottawa's got a chance to catch up in the East and get a home playoff game.
Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you, Sharky?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at a team that's been to the Grey Cup out of the West 5 years in a row. I mean, don't they get any leeway to have a 500 season? I mean, not that any of them want it or that they're trying for it. It's just, it's amazing how quickly we become sort of prisoners of the moment, and we don't look at the bigger picture. And there's a real sort of critique going on in Winnipeg right now about this team. The secondary's too small. They let too many good players go in the off season. They shouldn't have let Kenny Lawler go. There's a lot of the questions being asked. So there's pressure on this 500 team at 4-4 that has been to the Grey Cup 5 straight years. I just go, wow, okay, you can't even have a slow start when you're being that successful. The bar is that high.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, remember last year, the 0-4 start, and this year they're 4-5. They're still dangerous. They're a guy that tonight I'm curious to watch, because you see big playability when it does happen, and maybe it just hasn't been happening enough lately. Tarek Wheatfall seems like a guy that he can have a big game and kind of blow things open. He's not Kenny Lawler, but he has shades of what Lawler did for those Bombers in that receiving core.
Well, and he's been a bit of a mystery. Carrick Wheatfall is a mystery because in the first game of the season for Winnipeg, he had 5 catches for 127 yards. I mean, he was the leading receiver in the first couple of weeks for the Bombers, and he was taking the top off defenses and, really pushing for that deep ball. In the last 5 games, he hasn't got to that total that he had in the BC game at 127. The last 5 combined, he's been at 120, which is divided by 5 is sort of pedestrian, especially for a guy with breakaway ability like that. So it's interesting you mention his name because I'm going to keep my eye on him. Why has he been sleeping for 3 or 4 weeks here? Maybe tonight's the night that they find a way to get him the ball more. Their leading receiver last week in the loss to Calgary was their running back. That's a concern for the Bombers, and that's been pointed out by the media here in Winnipeg. There's one thing though I want to bring up, guys, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it too. Like tonight will once again be on display one of the best defensive players in our era, in Willie Jefferson. And when I was doing my notes for this game, I started looking at, he was in Edmonton in 2014, 2015. And then he was in Saskatchewan from 16 to 19. And I thought, how did those 2 teams allow Willie Jefferson to walk out the door? Like, I would love to dig into exactly what happened in those meetings where this phenom of a player that is just a unicorn in Willie Jefferson. Like there's no one like him. He's going straight to the Hall of Fame. And how did those 2 teams let him walk? I don't get it. He's not leaving Winnipeg now. It's too late now. Ship sailed. But wow, and he's getting up there in age. But I just think of his production and how those teams let him go.
It is an interesting question because when he was here and he left, I was the same way. I'm like, what did you want that we couldn't provide? Like what? How did this happen? Right? And of all teams to Winnipeg, right? It's not like he went to Toronto for the nightlife, right?
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
I just, and I'm sure there's an explanation, and I'm sure, when you sit in the meetings and you talk to the actual GMs that were involved, you're going to hear that, numbers were a factor, and maybe he really wanted to go to Winnipeg for some reason. I don't remember him saying that. The next time I talk to him, I'm going to bring it up and ask him, and we'll update this story. But I don't know. I'm with you. Seeing what he's done in his career, and even early in his career, I would have been just saying, where do I have to back up the truck to keep you here?
Yeah. It really doesn't make any sense.
Because I'm with you. When that happened and he got away, I figured, because a lot of times when guys leave us as part of Rider Nation, Suits, this, we're very emotional. When we break up, we don't take it well. And I thought at the time, just go, like a lot of free agents, you'll go chase money somewhere, and if it's down east, and then they're a year or 2 tops, maybe, it's never going to be like Rider Nation, and then next thing you know, it's a suitcase situation year after year after year. Willie made a good choice going to Winnipeg, and then they just started having dominant success. To me, that's what stings the most, because A, he made a good choice, whether that choice was made for him or that was all on his own, and then he made us pay for it because they won. And they didn't, like I said, they don't always win the Grey Cup when they go, but they just started being dominant. That's the part that hurts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you look at the 2 acquisitions that the Bombers made back in 2019 that made the difference. Willie Jefferson on defense, and they built their defense around him, and Zach Collaros on offense. And getting him right in the right moment, right in the sweet spot of his career and his journey. And that's the guy who they built around for offensively. So, 2 key players, and since 19, they've been to the Grey Cup every year, and both those guys joined the team.
With the Bombers secondary so beat up, does a veteran like an Ian Holm, really have to step up and try and maybe be a little over his skis at time to make up for some of the inexperience that's going to be playing there tonight?
Well, that's going to be a fun matchup to watch because I like this Ottawa receiving core, Maz. I mean, even Keelan White, who Rider fans may remember Richard White, his father, who played with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, was a linebacker. Keelan is fitting in. He's been targeted over 30 times for Ottawa. He's the new guy on the block. But Pimpleton, Braylon Addison, Justin Hardy, and Geno Lewis against a really young secondary for the Bombers that are starting Trey Vavel, the returner, at corner because Terrell Bonds is out, the starting corner. So you've got a young group back there. You've got real young corners that are undersized. Dexter Lawson, their other corner, is 5'9", 189 pounds, and Vavel's 5'11". Geno's 6'1". Braylon Addison is a smaller guy, but that's a matchup that is going to be a challenge for the Bombers. And maybe it comes down to if the O-line in Ottawa can protect Drew Brown long enough, then Ottawa should have the edge tonight when you look at the receivers versus DBs. But if Drew Brown doesn't have the time, pressure always trumps coverage in my book. If you have a choice between pressure on the quarterback or great coverage in the back end, always take pressure.
It makes a difference because if the quarterback's got to run around, he can't make the plays he wants to play. With coverage, he can at least do something, but with pressure, he can't.
Hard to complete passes when you're on your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If Brady Oliveira gets rolling and the helmet slapping starts early in the first quarter and they start running downhill, because we talked on Tuesday, you think he's still hurt, healthy enough to play, but not like the Brady we've seen, and they can establish that run game early. Do you think that they've learned enough in the games that they've lost to not go away from the run game and just keep pounding it because that is their key to success?
Yeah, I think they know that. Yeah, I do. And maybe they've gone away from it because of the injury and not wanting to say anything. I talked to Brady this week. He said it's just now for this week of work and this game, it's just now feeling closer to normal. Not completely there yet, but closer. And this is a shoulder guy. So when you think about a running back and his shoulder, the first thing that comes to mind is pass protection because he's got to use his hands there. And if you're driving with your palm to try and stop a blitzing linebacker, that's going to affect your shoulder. The other is when you're hitting the hole, it's going to be subconscious, but you're going to try to protect your shoulder and lead with the other side. That's going to take you completely out of your natural, ability to cut and play off defenders. So, I think he's probably been subconsciously protecting it as he's played over the last few games. He hasn't been himself. I noticed that last week. Talked to him this week. Says it's better. It's closer, but it's not 100%. But it's probably to a point now where Jason Hogan, the new offensive coordinator in Winnipeg, he wants to go back to the formula. I'd be shocked if we don't see Brady getting it 15 times or more.
Who's backing him up? Who's behind Oliveira if he does bang that shoulder up again?
Yeah, he's got they got that good Canadian kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew Peterson, who's out of the University of Alberta. And in game one, when they were still with their formula, but Brady was hurt in the first series. He hurt his shoulder in that first series against BC. Yeah. He was lights out, 23 for 130. So was the leading rusher in the game, not just in this game, but in the league. So, that was a good start for him. Now he's seen a little bit of action since then, and it's looks more like the rookie that he is, and has got a long way to go. And he's not Brady, but he is a good backup.
All right, tomorrow night, Toronto's in Edmonton. Two teams that desperately need a win to keep any kind of hopes alive because they're in a chase position in the East and the West. With Toronto, flashes of greatness. The Cody Fajardo era of him being the starting quarterback is starting to get better week after week after week. I like the Elks at home just because what Cody can bring, and Toronto's just a little bit too much of a wild card these days.
Yeah, I would agree, Maz. I think the Argos are trying to find their formula. And, it's usually after 3 or 4 games, you should kind of figure out what you need, what you don't need, what you need to change, what you don't. You start to see those changes in the, game 6 to 9, which is kind of where we are now. I still think Toronto's in the early stages. They're trying to find a running back that can get some production. They're trying to find an offensive line combination that can give Arbuckle more time. I think there's a lot of sort of work in progress stuff going on there. For that reason, and the fact that they're in Edmonton and the way Cody played in Montreal, I guess the Elks, I don't know what the spread is, but, they're probably favored. The only question mark I have is Edmonton has given up tons of yards. They've given up on defense. They've given up too many points on defense. They're not taking the ball away. They have 2 interceptions, which wouldn't be bad, but they're last in sacks too. They're last in passing yards allowed. They're last in points allowed. They're last in sacks created. They're turnovers created. They've just been so pedestrian on defense. And then they go to Montreal and play their best game. That was their best game. They didn't allow Montreal. Now, McLeod Bethel-Thompson was playing quarterback, but they didn't allow them into the red zone but for one time in the second half in that game. So they played their best football in Montreal last week. Can they do that again? I think, Edmonton's got a heavy edge here. But if they fall back into giving up 400 yards a game and not turning the ball over or creating a turnover, they'll lose. DeMonte Coxey is a player. He's leading the league in receiving. So they better cover him.
But you talked about it last week. You said that Edmonton's defense was their bigger problem than their offense. I agreed with you, but I don't think Toronto's going to bring enough to the table that Edmonton's going to be scared of anything.
I like Coxey. I mean, he's earned. Here's a guy that against the Bombers had, in 2 games against the Bombers, had over 300 yards receiving. And Arbuckle's around, he's already closing in on 3,000 yards passing, and we're not at the halfway point. So it's not really been their offense that's been the problem. They've had 0 running game, and part of that is when you have, I think their coach in Ryan Dinwiddie as sort of, it sometimes has the philosophy that running the ball is an inconvenience. Remember when Kent Austin sort of had that? When he was the head coach, I remember talking to him in Hamilton. He said, Glenn, you guys always talk about the balance and running the ball. I think running the ball is an inconvenience. We're in a passing league. Let's let our quarterbacks win games. And I was like, I don't agree. but sometimes I think Dinwiddie falls in. The former quarterback in Ryan Dinwiddie falls into that too. And then he just starts sort of abandoning the run. They've got to get some balance on offense, but they do have playmakers in the receiving core, and it's not been Arbuckle that has been the problem.
Suits, we know you don't gamble. That you've told us that many times. But the point total for Hamilton and Saskatchewan is 53.5. I'm thinking, and I'm not a gambler myself, it's probably safe to take the over because there could be some points put up Saturday at Mosaic between the Riders and the Ticats.
Both quarterbacks so efficient. I think you watch Bo and the way he's played, and Trevor. There's your 2. I mean, this is the game. That's the game of the week, and I hate that I'm not doing it, but to me, that's the game of the week because the way Hamilton has played, the way Trevor has commanded that offense and played at such a high efficiency level, and really taken whatever the defensive game plan has. He can dissect whatever you throw at him because he's seen it all. And, in that regard, I would think there's going to be some points. However, this is not the BC defense that Hamilton's facing. This is the Rider defense. And the Rider defense is, in my opinion, way further along than the BC Lions defense. Mike Benavides, our former colleague here at TSN, is going to hear that, the DC and BC, and he's going to say, whoa, I'm gonna have a message on my phone in about 20 minutes. But I honestly don't think it's close. I think the Rider defense is way further along and playing much better together with a great front four as opposed to the BC defense. And Hamilton put some points on the board with them. Even when the BC defense tried to take away Lawler and was successful doing that, they did it in such an obvious way that Bo Levi Mitchell just went to another player. He went to Keandre Smith. So, I think if you're going to pay extra attention to Lawler, which you probably should, you can do it from a much more subtle approach, a much more disguise-driven approach. And if the Riders don't do that, then Bo will dissect them just like he did BC. But I don't think they will. I think their secondary is better than the Lions, and their front four is played. You can individually pluck guys out and say guys like Matthew Betts are outstanding, but collectively, the Rider D-line has been much better than BC. So, I think it will be high-scoring, Maz, but I'm hoping for a shootout because they're fun to watch. I will be watching, not calling it. That's bugging me. But that's the game of the week, no question.
You've been shorted the last couple of weeks, Suits. What's happened to you? You're not at the right games.
Well, I'm doing this one tonight in Winnipeg and then in Edmonton tomorrow night. So I got the back-to-backers. But I had to actually, this was my doing because a relative's son is getting married on Saturday in Vancouver. So I'm going to be part of that ceremony. And that's why I couldn't do the, that's why I had to make the change and do the.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
Can we ask you an honest question? Do you have any idea what kind of gift your wife has bought for this wedding that your name will be on the card for on Saturday? I'm going to bet the under that Suits has no idea what the wedding gift is going to be, Sharky. I'm not sure what your cool bet is going to say.
I'm going under.
Sharky, you're going under? Well, here's how it went down. First of all, I have no idea. And and secondly, when she asked me about a month ago, I said, "How about cash?" so that was my input.
As valuable as it is, cash is always good. It's always good to get cash.
Always good.
Always good. Yeah.
Crypto dreams. The final game this week, Montreal is at BC. And here's the thing about a BC win that scares me. They're starting to get on a little bit of roll. I don't like Mike Benavides and their defense. I think there's a lot of holes there. He doesn't have my number, so he can't text me. I'm just being honest. To me, that's their weakness. Because the offense, Curtis Rourke, or is it Curtis?
Nathan.
The Rourke brothers are starting to come around just a little bit. I think he's starting to get comfortable in that Buck Pierce offense, and they're starting to do some things, and he's starting to move around and see that. With a BC win over Montreal, they're one game closer, and I don't like that because we don't need them hanging around, just kind of lingering on the edges.
Hey, if you're in the West, if you live in the West and your team is a Western team, you're always cheering for the Eastern teams in these matchups. There's no question about that. Yeah. That's going to happen. But I agree with you on Nathan. I think he has got a good grasp of this new offense. He's settling in nicely, and we're seeing more of that 22 Nathan Rourke than last year when he returned. So I think we're getting closer to that. I think that offense in BC can play with anybody in the league. I think they could score with Calgary. They could score with Hamilton. They can score with anybody. What the question mark for me is, and you mentioned it, Maz, their defense. Their defense just has underachieved, and I'm not sure personnel-wise they're there yet either, to be honest with you. I look at them, and there's some good players, there's no question, but they have just been, I don't know, just there was a game, I think it was a Hamilton game, where Hamilton didn't punt until deep into the fourth quarter against that defense. So, you got to get some stops in Canadian football to win. And I'm not sure how consistent or how good that BC defense is or how bad they are.
With the number of punts in the CFL, if you don't get one till the fourth quarter, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble.
Yeah.
You can't be that far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Suits, before we let you go.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, and I'm not sure if you have the vantage point yet, is it a nice night in Winnipeg, and what's the lineup at the Rum Hut situation currently at the moment?
Rum Hut is completely packed. I'm not there.
Oh.
I would like to be there, and I'm not there.
Nice.
But the booth, I'm in the booth. Marshall Ferguson's right beside me. He's getting ready to call it. And it's a beautiful night in Winnipeg. Possible rain, thunderstorms later in the evening, but right now, beautiful night.
Enjoy
if
it.
You're standing in line that long, you can't order a single. You've got to get at least 2 doubles. And that's a veteran move. I don't care what side of, if you're offense or defense, that would be a veteran move. Always get a double. Suits, have a great call tonight. Enjoy the wedding. Let's get an update on those nuptials on Tuesday, because we'll be waiting to find out what the gift was.
And I'll do some research into what happened to Bob. I'm going to reach out to the BC Ministry of Environment and see if I can track down some information.
That'd be great. I'd love to know.
Yeah, if there's been a relocation. Yeah. Okay.
Relocation. Yeah, that's a kind way of putting it. All right, it's press coverage for Bronco Plumbing and Heating. That's Glen Suitor, Tuesdays and Thursdays here on the Sportscage. It's time to take a break. When we come back, we will hear from Saskatchewan Roughrider head coach Corey Mace. It was a closed practice earlier today, but coach spoke afterwards to our Dave Thomas. We'll do that next on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Calling all Rider fans. The bonus deadline for the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is midnight tomorrow. Score the ultimate fan tailgate prize, a 2025 Ranger Raptor packed with gear and Rider season tickets, or choose $85,000 in cash. Plus, there are over 1,000 more prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Don't miss out. Bonus deadline is midnight tomorrow. Get your tickets at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR250022. Please play responsibly.
Dan from Croft Electric explains the importance of reliable electricity on your farm.
Whether they bleed green combines or red combines, they buy those combines for reliability, right? So why wouldn't you want to have the same thing with your electrical system? You want something reliable when you need it and working when you need it.
For reliable, professional electrical work for your farm, see Croft Electric.
Do it right. Do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
Great, my basement flooded and now my contractor says I have to use his flooring guy.
Whoa, that's not how it works. You can choose where to go, not him, not his buddy Doug.
Seriously?
Heck yeah! At Flooring Superstore, we've been helping people with insurance claims for over 20 years. Homes, farms, businesses, cabins, no kickbacks, just solid advice.
Flooring Superstore, quality floor coverings at the best price. FlooringSuperstoreRegina.ca.
Attention! The pre-owned summer sell down is on now at Capital GMC, your GM certified pre-owned destination. Demand is hot and we've got the best certified pre-owned Buicks, GMCs, and Cadillacs in town. Fully backed with a 150 plus point inspection and roadside assistance. Get big trade-in dollars for your current vehicle or just sell us your ride because we need inventory. Rates as low as 4.99% for up to 60 months on select certified pre-owned vehicles. Come to Capital GMC at Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina, where we go the extra mile and so do our vehicles.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit Olympic-buildings.ca.
It's the perfect place to hold your event. It's the perfect place whether it's for a trade show, fundraiser, dance recital, company team building event, or off-site business meeting. It's the perfect place for your wedding with exceptional catering services, venues perfect for a group of any size, and plenty of on-site parking. The perfect place for your event is the Connexus Arts Center. Get all the details about hosting your next event at the Connexus Arts Center at connexusartscenter.ca. See you at the center.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Game 1 of the WCBL Championship goes tonight at Curry Field. The Regina Red Sox are taking on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. It's a best of 3. First pitch goes at 7 o'clock. Games 2 and 3 will be played in Sylvan Lake tomorrow and on Saturday. The Jays won earlier today. It was a Vladimir Guerrero 2-run home run. Jays over the Cubs 2-1. Tomorrow they start a series with the Texas Rangers. Week 11 in the CFL kicks off tonight with Ottawa in Winnipeg. That game gets rolling around 6:30. The playoff round starts tomorrow at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Canada will play the U.S. And at the Canada Summer Games in Newfoundland, Saskatchewan has now 2 medals. Bear Robertson won a bronze in the men's 1,000-meter canoe. And that's your Sports Ticker. It's Maz hosting the Sportscage today, along with Sharky, who's in for Flooring Superstore. Day 3, practice-wise for the Riders, closed practice. But Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, had a chance to catch up with head coach Corey Mace afterwards, and this is what Coach Mace had to say.
Coach Mace, preparation obviously well underway for Hamilton here on Saturday. Second meeting between your two teams. If you look back at week number 2, how are the Tiger Cats different from the team that you defeated then to the team that they are now?
Yeah, just, it's like most teams, I think they're just they're more comfortable in what's being asked for them to do. Offensively, they're obviously gelling really well. Defensively, they had a new coach come in Monson and just being able to digest their system. So, they're a much more put together team. I think just confident in the calls and what they're supposed to be doing, which is ultimately what leads them to the record they have.
So what have some of the focuses that you've had this week been on?
From the defensive perspective, just being able to limit the explosive plays. Obviously, they're a very talented group in the receiving corps, and can't speak enough positives about what Bo's been able to do throughout his career. So certainly that, kind of make them earn the tough yards and always being able to stop the run. When they do hand it off, I think Bell's a really good running back, and their O-line does a good job. So from that standpoint, being able to do that, and then offensively, just being able to really be sustain drives and finish them. I think we've shown to this point of the season we're able to move the field pretty dang good. It's just, just managing to finish when we get down there. So we'll continue to just push those things for ourselves.
Nick Wiebe coming up on his 1-year anniversary of making his CFL debut. Of course, then he suffered a setback with another injury and then battled all the way back to getting into the lineup and ready for week 1 this year. What have you seen from him that allowed him and that bounce back to happen?
Yeah, just going back, I didn't know that, but going back to that time, I know it was really hard on him. But, knowing that kid's family and the support system that he has and his drive, speaking with him throughout the back end of the season and the off season, he was working his tail off to get out here and wear the green and white. So super happy for him that he's been able to do that, but he's been able to do it at a high clip too. He's been outstanding, I think, special teams wise, and defensively he's shown to be just there as well. So super happy. He is who we thought he was, and that's a reason why he's here.
Now, he was all smiles in Montreal when he got an opportunity to rotate in on the defense as well. What earned him that opportunity to go in on D?
I think consistency, man. And, obviously he's played football at a high level, in college down south, and, certainly the career that he had at the U of S. And then just, being someone you can count on to get his job done week in and week out from the special teams. You can kind of reward those guys in certain situations, and certainly he's gotten there to that point defensively. So, might have been shocked, but I don't think he'll be too shocked moving forward.
Lastly, it sounds like it's going to be a big crowd here on Saturday as tickets continue to move fast. What does that big crowd mean to you and this team?
Oh, it's everything. It's it's incredible. I'm hoping this is going to be a weekly thing for us, every home game. But it's unreal. Just from the standpoint, I know that it helps the team, yes, but certainly the team wants to give back to the fan base, and having them come out here and support us. The best way that, as a team we could support them is just continue to play football that they're proud of. So the more eyes that can see it in person and make it tough for the opponent, we're all for that.
Sharky, if there's one thing that concerns me, it's when we had Dave on right off the top of the show, when we asked about red zone efficiency. I thought we were better, but Dave told us the Riders are 7th in red zone efficiency, and the Hamilton Ticats are 1st.
I mentioned it at the beginning, and the Riders got to be more bullies. And not to say that we haven't played hard or that we haven't tried to win every game, but we got to literally ram it down their throat. And I think that's where that red zone efficiency comes from. It's that desire to make sure that we're getting 7 instead of 3. I've said all along that this is the game. This is the bellwether game. It's not you had talked earlier in the year that it was going to be the 2 Winnipeg games, right? The back-to-back was going to be the bellwether. I think this is the game that's the bellwether of the Riders season. If they come out and dominate Hamilton the way they dominated Montreal last week, we know what kind of football team we got.
For the Hamilton Ticats, if they come in and they do lose, it's not as bad as if the Riders lose, because Hamilton's going to be the best team in the East. They just will. Everybody else is fighting for 9th place in the East, and there's only 4 teams. But they really are. Hamilton loses, it's not that bad. As we talked about, as long as you're in the East, no matter what your record is, it seems that you have a shot with crossover, and somehow you end up making it to the Grey Cup. I think it's worse for the Riders if they don't pick up the win. Then Hamilton goes back home, goes, whatever. They probably have an Argonaut game coming up, an injured Alouette game coming up, or a Red-Black game coming up where they can get back on track. And
I think Hamilton's looking at this game the same way the Riders are. I think this is the mark of where they are in the,
Sure.
The Riders are 7-1. Hamilton's, I think, 5-2 right now, or 6-2. Like, this is the mark. These are the teams that you're going to show whether you're the premier team in the league.
Yep.
And I don't think Hamilton's going, we'll get them next time. I think they're coming in here going, we want to make sure these guys know we're the best team in the league. I think it's going to be a great game. I do. I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for Saturday.
I hope it lives up to the hype of first place team against first place team. But remember, when the Riders play, get the KFC Game Day Special, the Big Crunch for $4.95 and the Big Crunch Combo for $7.95 at participating KFC locations. And don't forget, the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network has Countdown to Kickoff Saturday. That'll start 10 o'clock. Ooh, the morning edition of Countdown to Kickoff. Rider Nation pregame show at noon, and Dave and Luke will have the call starting at 1, right here on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
Milligan Bio has a need for seed, and they want your heated and damaged canola today. Milligan Bio, a locally owned Canadian company based in Foam Lake, has space available for your canola and is accepting immediate delivery. Get that damaged canola out of your bins and put the cash in your pocket. Call Milligan Bio now at 272-6284. That's 272-6284 to arrange your delivery or on-farm pickup. MilliganBio.com.
SEIU West members are
Stores Person, Unit Assistant, Finance Officer, Unit Clerk,
Recreation Coordinator,
Youth Care Worker, Medical Laboratory Technologist, Power Engineer, Office Administrative Assistant,
Maintenance Services Worker,
Medical Transcriptionist, Medical Office Assistant, File Clerk, Medical Laboratory Assistant,
Pharmacy Technician.
The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seius.ca.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Yar, do you fancy yourself a bit of a price pirate?
Get ready to pillage and plunder Tuesday treasures at Freeze Tallman.
It's a treasure trove of clearance items on display at the bow.
Or the front of the store. With new items announced on Tuesday, you'll never know the bounty you'll find. Check the website for updates or stop by the store in person.
Tuesday treasures. No treasure maps needed.
Visit freezetallman.com. Regina location only. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage. We just got a couple minutes left in today's show. It's funny, Sharky. It seems like nowadays the world and everybody's more serious than ever before. Ha-has are hard to come by.
They are.
We went to get our daughter's cell phones today, and in a nice neighborhood. I was tugging on the door. I didn't think they were open. They are. They lock their door in the daytime now. And she's like, yeah, we just have to do that. I'm like, oh, man. So I was scrolling my phone. And when I saw this, it just put a smile. A little throwback Thursday here at Colson. Yeah. Remember when that was the biggest problem we had? We're worrying about whether Hulk and Macho Man were going to win their tag team match against Andre the Giant or whoever they were taking on.
I love that.
It's funny.
That's awesome.
And there'll never be another one of those. There will never, ever be that ever. And so when I saw that yesterday, it just made me smile, thinking of a simpler time. And I was worried about that as a dad now with kids, to be like, I hope that they have some stuff like that that can make them going, because everybody is a little serious nowadays. Everybody's on all the time.
Oh, yeah, you're on all the time because you're on camera all the time, right? Wherever you go, you're always on, right? Even us. Look at us. We have to be sharp and alert and make sure our hair's cut.
Two guys that maybe should never, ever be on camera, 3 hours and on a YouTube channel. Listen, if you don't hit subscribe out of pity, please do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids out there. Keep us off the radio. Yep.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to Gary Brotzel, Arash Madani, and Glen Suitor. If you missed any part of the show, you can always catch it on demand at your convenience, Apple, Spotify, or you can catch any of our podcasts on our website at sportscage.com. And when you're there, don't forget to sign up for the daily newsletter. That'll do it for today. Tomorrow on the show, Saskatchewan Roughrider President Craig Reynolds is going to drop by at 4 o'clock. Farhan Lalji is on the show, and Luke Mullender will join us at around 5:05 tomorrow afternoon to set up Riders and Ticats. Have a great night. Thanks for being part of the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Bye-bye.
Stay in the know about what's happening in Regina. Get the latest news and events delivered right to your inbox with the Regina Today newsletter. Whether you're looking for local happenings, must-visit spots, or the latest in local news, we've got you covered. Sign up today and get Regina's best stories all in one place. Text news to 306-936-6262, and we'll send the link right to your phone. It's free, it's easy, and it's all about Regina. Sign up for the Regina Today newsletter from sasktoday.ca.
Calling all Rider fans. The bonus deadline for the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is midnight tomorrow. Score the ultimate fan tailgate prize, a 2025 Ranger Raptor packed with gear and Rider season tickets, or choose $85,000 in cash. Plus, there are over